The reason we were late is we were hanging out waiting for some people to drop in, but they can drop it on the fly. It's fine. We're not that formal around here. So you'll see probably some people popping in randomly. But as for now, we go around the people that are here currently. We have Josie.
Yes. Happy to be back.
Good to have Josie here. You just did a video on Mario, or like original Mario.
Yeah, I did. I had so much fun with that video.
I need to watch that. I didn't see it.
It's I don't want to hype myself up, but I cropped the aspect ratio, so it's like an old CRT basically aspect ratio, to stay true to form. Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with the production of that video, and then it was just like I played that game to oblivion, so it was fun to just talk about again.
You didn't use the warp pipe to jump ahead. You actually like beat it all the way through all levels.
You know, I've done that I think one time, but I did use saves. But I've beaten it with the warps multiple times, like speedrun style.
Okay. Let's see. We also have OJ returning to the Spawncast. Haven't had you on in a while for the scheduling stuff, but we're back Saturday night. People been calling for Saturday night. We're back on Saturday night.
It feels like I think it's been months, man. So we had a Spawncast pre-show. It was fun. There was hundreds of people there. So yeah, definitely glad to be back. Missed the Spawncast fam. So yeah, shout outs, man. Thanks for having it at a time. For those that were saying that, yo, OJ, you actually got fired. I thought about doing a video, John, where I literally I thought about it. I thought about doing the vid where I actually crashed the Lambo. I get some CG or something, but I mean, I decided against it. But yeah, I didn't get fired. I'm here. I didn't get fired yet. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens.
Well, people have been asking for Saturday nights to come back, and we're back. All right, so people in the chat got to hit the like button to show us that you're on board for Saturday nights. And maybe we'll be back to that. We'll see going forward.
Hit the like button, guys. Come on. Now. How many likes we need at least? How many do we usually get, or how many do you guys usually get?
Like around 1,000.
Okay, so 1,500 the goal.
Oh, we'll do that. 1,500 likes the goal. There you go.
What do they get? Do they get anything?
Saturday night next week.
Josie, you don't have to. That's not.
No, my bad. I'm new to the whole content thing.
No, the goal is if you like Saturday night, you let us know.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. All right, my bad.
John's gonna be shipping out prizes.
Hey, Saturday night.
Hopefully your basement doesn't flood, so you get those prizes out.
I'm done with flood basements.
Hey, you're welcome for setting you up for that one. See?
I had enough of those. Grew up with a basement that flooded like 4 times.
Yeah.
I didn't even know basements were a thing. I don't think they're existent in California.
I told them before, people in California don't have basements. Like, there's not a lot of basements in California. Yeah.
Basements is like one of the greatest thing ever.
I know my friend lives in the Bronx, and she had like a whole separate area over there. It was sick.
Yeah, I've never had a house that's had a basement. I'm on my second house that I bought now, and whenever I went house shopping, I never saw a house with a basement, not a single house.
Yeah, we've always had just basements obviously in the Northeast. It's one of the best things ever. It's always the same temperature year round because it's like below ground. And only problem is if it floods, you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know, like Stealth, his basement. I've seen so many people that like, oh, my basement flooded. I lost all. It's like, so it seems like that's like a thing. Like your basement being flooded. Like it's like it happens a lot.
Yeah, you need to come up with some preventative measures. They have like pumps that'll move water out from like the foundation just in case. So if it goes out, then you're kind of in trouble. So you have like a battery backup. You learn this stuff every time it floods. So like my old house where it flooded, eventually got to the point where it never flooded, but it took us getting flooded 3 times before you figure it out.
It's like an RPG that you build experience.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But man, when the basement, when everything is solid, if it's like 100 degrees outside, doesn't matter. It's like 65 in the basement.
That's cool. Here in California, like if you want something like that, you gotta like build it. Like you just build like an extension. Like you build an extension, or like you get like one of those like small houses. Like you have like a big backyard, you get like a small house. So I know people that like, Paul Gale, who does content, he built a super cool extension. Like he lives in LA, and he built like a dope extension to his house. It looks really cool.
Okay, good stuff. So I had a bunch of topics for tonight. Also had some questions actually over on the Spawncast network that people were leaving as well. And then any of the super chats that come in, we'll go through those too. Like Casual Noob Gamers says, Saturday nights are back, baby. Please split this $1.99.
3-way split.
Casual Noob Gamer.
4-way split. YouTube.
Oh yeah. And then Sir Brooks says, what are the chances we finally get Gen 1 through 3 Pokemon in NSO? I feel like Nintendo has been dropping the ball for way too long. Easiest money grab ever. Well, you know what? We'll actually do that topic first for Pokemon Presents, because that is happening
Thursday.
This week, Thursday. Yeah. So
Thursday.
it's at, well, for you guys, it's 6 a.m. For me, it's 9 a.m. So yeah, shout out to all the West Coast people out there.
That was good. That was so clutch that it was 6 a.m. because I got something that I got to do by 8 a.m. So
so you got to be up early anyway. You're like, I get that out of the way quick.
So it was clutch that it was 6 a.m. for me because I have to be at this place by 8 a.m. So
we kind of already knew it was happening, but now we have some people saying that the Pokemon ZA isn't necessarily the one last thing there. So kind of implying that there is something else that they would show that's a bit larger. Although you're not going to you might surprise people with Pokemon ZA by showing it to them, be like, oh, this looks cool. But we've already seen that. We already know what's happening. We've already seen the title card. We're expecting it. But I am curious, what are you guys' expectations for this Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day, of course, the 27th?
I never have expectations for Pokemon Day.
No,
no,
man. You just gotta read that.
What?
You just got to read the thread underneath the announcement over on Twitter X, and it's craziness. It's like the biggest wish list ever under there.
Yeah, I never have any expectations because they never meet the expectations because it's for the Pokemon's almost like a separate thing from Nintendo at times, right? Like the fan base for that, it's like its own separate thing. People that love the card games, like people that love the competitive battling, it's like a whole separate thing. So there's always going to be stuff for people that like all of that, and mobile games. Like the mobile games are super popular, so that's the reason why I don't ever get super hyped up for them, because it's not like it's going to be a bunch of Switch games and all that. So yeah, I don't have expectations. But apparently Nintendo of America retweeted it and or quote tweeted it and said, look out for it. And apparently they don't do that, so maybe there is something a little bit more here.
Interesting. What do you think, Josie? You got any hopes and dreams?
I have a lot, but I don't think they're going to be met. I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's hear them. Let's hear them rapid fire, because you might hit one.
All right. I think their big thing at the end should not be a big new huge game. I think it should be a spin-off so that they don't kill their resources and release half-baked games like they like to do. I think that game should be Pikachu's Pokepark 3. Nobody's going to agree with me, and I'm going to get destroyed in your comments, but
Park 3.
It's a really damn good, those two games are my favorite, nostalgic-wise. And the Wii nostalgia is coming back, so it'd be cool to capitalize on it right now. Other than that, maybe a new mystery dungeon game or something kind of smaller, I think, to capitalize on the fan base. There also is a lot of rumors that it might be I think an X and Y remake is what people are saying.
I think it's more hopium for there people.
I saw black and white
remake.
Oh god, black and white would be so cool. I don't know if
because
they would do
the
that.
last one was Diamond and Pearl, so the next one
hypothetically.
up is, the next one up is black and white, which that'd be great. Black and white is awesome. It's a very good game. So
yeah.
But I mean, would it be like a brilliant Diamond, or would it be like that type of remake? So if it's like that, then hold up, not as exciting, So
tell me if they would remake those types of games with a HD 2D art style and keep them sort of 2D like that, I would die. That'd be my favorite thing of all time.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't think
they would
really
ever
good.
do that, but
I mean, you never know. But yeah, probably not. But that'd be cool. I'd be down for it as well. Yeah, I'd be down for it. I'm just thinking, hey, look, Pokemon Legends ZA. That's all I'm expecting. That's the game that I'm looking forward to. To me, that's the best Pokemon game. On the Switch is Pokemon Legends Arceus.
I agree.
So this is the next one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Mega Evolutions look like that's gonna be cool. Maybe they talk about that more. So yeah. Looking forward.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about with that game, I feel like.
Because they've said nothing. So
yeah,
this has never happened in the history of Pokemon. That ever since I've been covering, at least, they've never announced the game. Then a year later, there's nothing on the game. That's just, it's never happened that I ever.
It has been a while. You're right. It's been a minute since they did. I mean, they gave us an idea as to what it's going to be, but they didn't really show a whole bunch of the game at all.
They've always shown some type of gameplay with it, either at the reveal or a number of months later. But they've never waited a whole calendar year later to show a game, to show actual gameplay. So that's completely different. That's completely irregular for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. What about an NSO release? Anything? Any Switch Online stuff?
They might put some random, is a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for the GBA on?
Yes. Yeah, it is, because I remember I looked at it, I said, that's weird, because they did a remake of
they did the yeah.
Okay, and sold it.
I can see them doing stuff like that, maybe like a Hey You Pikachu type vibe or something kind of dumb. There's no way we're getting like mainline.
Everybody wants the main line. They're like, come on,
Pokemon
blue,
Pinball
red, yellow.
on there?
Pokemon
Yeah,
Pinball
yeah.
needs to go on there. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Wait, I
I
think
think
it
maybe
is-
something like Pokemon Pinball.
I think that is on the GBA.
Oh, it's already there, huh?
Well, they don't have the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance, but they can pick either one.
True.
But they haven't put it. They put the trading card game on there, and
Yeah.
that was cool because that was a fun little thing to drop on there. But like the pinball, I think is an easy one for them to do. If they did red, blue, or yellow, that would
be
get people
amazing.
super hyped up. It would
That would be fantastic.
I would play it for like 10 minutes and be like, oh, cool, and then never play it again.
I will tell you this.
Nah,
you know, the
I
thing about
would
that,
stream
though,
the whole thing.
It'd be that moment where, like, if you were back in the day and you're a kid and you didn't have the ability to get like Alakazam or Golem or anything you had to trade for, immediately I'm going into the mode of like, nope, I'm at least playing until I can trade them and fulfill that childhood dream of having a Gengar.
The Gengar.
Sorry. I'm a little sick. I'm sorry. That was funny. Your childhood dream of having, I need the Gengar, but nobody to trade with.
Or you have that poor friend who you made restart the game over and over again and trade you all the starter Pokemon.
And nobody would do that for me. I had 2 versions of the game, 2 Game Boys, and I just did it that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But here, technically, if you have the family account and you have 2 Switches, you could do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Fire it up, trade it to yourself.
I just feel like they're so that Pokemon Company isn't the most generous, I guess, with their things. So they would probably just rather get a payday and put it on the eShop or something for $10.
I mean, if they did that, they would probably. I mean, honestly, they'd probably be like, it's $20 each, and everyone would be like, all right, fine, I'm gonna go ahead and buy that now.
yeah, no,
it
the
would
thing
be
is, like,
crazy.
people would buy it. Yeah, absolutely.
They did that on the 3DS, if I'm not correct.
They did.
They sold them individually. I don't know how
They
much
even
they
had
were,
the 3DS
though.
Special Edition system.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal. I think I feel like they were 20 each. If I'm not, I feel like they were because they had to re-rate them because of that the gambling corner with this slobbing. They had to do some weird rating thing for that because the ESRB and in the UK specifically, it's all serious about it.
Yeah.
They got like teen ratings or something.
That's crazy for a Pokemon game.
Let me see. Okay, you got him. Let me think. Are we gonna have the next generation Pokemon games here?
God, I hope not.
Next gen.
It's too early. I think it's too early for that one.
They need to give those games time to cook and like work.
It would be if they started development on it like right after, because the whole team wasn't working on the DLC. I mean, we're looking at it's only about 3 years right now. So I don't think it's gonna be this year. Usually it's about 3 year gap in between, but I don't think it's gonna be this year. I think it's gonna be the next year. I think it's gonna be 2026 that we're gonna see them.
Do you think their next generation game is going to be a Switch game that's like that also has compatibility with the Switch 2? Like they're going to try to sell it to the Switch users too.
I think it's going to be a Switch 1 game that will have updated for Switch 2. But Pokemon Company is very they're very like install base is really important to them.
Right.
Like, very important. Like they've made decisions like, no, well, we're not making the game on the 3DS because the DS has more, so like that, I think it was like 2012 Black and White or Black and White 2. I think it was Black and White 2. Like the 3DS was already out and people were like, oh yeah, where's the 3DS game? They're like, no, you get a DS game,
But even with like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they put that out and we were all talking about the Switch at the time.
Yeah, because like they want install base. So I think that if they'll probably do some updates for Switch 2, but it'll definitely be a Switch 1 game at its base.
There it is. Any classic collection for Pokemon needs home access. Josh, you're right. You're right. It would actually start to get pretty easy to collect a lot of the Pokemon then if we had that. Well, physical collection. I don't know, Dave. How much do you think a physical collection would be if they put red, blue, yellow all in one cart?
They could probably get 60. They
60?
can get 70 for it.
They could get 70, couldn't they?
They absolutely could.
If they're just ports.
Yeah.
Awful.
If they just put 3, they could definitely get. I mean, people would pay it for it.
HD 2D silver and gold. People were mentioning that too. If they would do like a Let's Go silver and gold, like a Pokemon.
I mean, I wouldn't want it to be 70, but I mean, I'd probably buy it. But
I think a lot of people would buy it. Yeah,
because it's physical. Because like, oh wow, it's actually like physical. I don't value the Pokemon digital games. Like, I don't care,
that's true. No, I'd buy it too.
I have zero value in those, but if a physical copy, that would be interesting.
That's a release that a lot of people would say they're not going to buy it. You know, talk the big game, and then they show it and it has a slip cover and it's over.
Yeah. That was like Pokemon, like the original Pokemon Let's Go. We're not buying it. It's like it sold 10 million in like 2 days. Like, wait, what? I thought nobody was buying the game.
Like that in particular, the nostalgia would take over, and you'd be punched in your pin code without even realizing it. Like, it'd be done.
It's like you're sleepwalking or whatever. You just automatically do. You don't even know what you're doing, but you just.
There's no way. Like, you imagine the box art for that with like the 3 cover arts right on the front from the Game Boy. It's over. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'd be done.
Good. Yeah, that'd be good. Hey, thanks, Christian
B World says, "Welcome back, OJ."
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see it this week, Thursday. There's people still holding out hope for a direct. I don't know what to tell people.
RGT is stressing me out. Like constantly, he's like, "It's gonna be tomorrow. You gotta get up early." And then I get up at like fucking 6.
With you.
Yeah, he's messing with you.
Hold
the line. You gotta hold the line.
I get up at 6, and then I'm just like, "There's literally nothing happening right now."
Hold the line, Josie, like the Xbox guys. Hold it. Hold the line.
Constantly.
And then do you play Fortnite at 6 in the morning?
I go back to sleep until like 12 because I usually go to bed at like 4, so it doesn't work out.
You wake up 2 hours after you get done, like all your college stuff.
Bad.
Josie goes to sleep, then wakes right back.
I wake
Her
up.
head hits the pillow, and she's up 2 seconds later.
Yeah, I check Twitter, and then I nothing, classic, and then go back to bed.
Man,
every time.
Well, RGT's ass is asleep.
Fully.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but sometimes he tells me stuff and then it happens, and I'm on the, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got you schmixed.
That's what he's doing. He just needs to get a couple right that he can basically lie to you for 80% of the time going forward.
It's the cross up like in Street Fighter when they jump over your head and you think you're gonna block one. Yeah, they hit you in the back of the head. It hits you. It's a cross up, Josie. It's a cross up.
You can't do it.
Well, people still holding out hope for a direct this week coming up. I don't know. Maybe you'll get some Twitter announcements. There you go. I don't know. I don't know why they would do a direct the same week as the Pokemon event.
Because they hate us or they love
quite
us.
Strange.
One of those two.
But I guess the Kirby Planet Robobot still has to at least be shown somewhere. But that feels like that Twitter announcement where you just wake up and there's Kirby. Okay,
Kirby. Buy it next month.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll work. I think most people are just waiting for April 2nd. So they're going to be waiting all through March, just hoping something happens. But
April 2nd is going to be like the Super Bowl for like nerds. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much will be. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see there. I will tell you this, though. There is, I guess this is technically strange. And you know what? I will say this. There will at least be one more Nintendo event-ish kind of thing because we do have Mario Day, March 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo's doing a Switch bundle, which is, I mean, I guess it's a deal for people who don't have one and have wanted one, but I would just wait for the Switch.
Yeah, was it Mario Wonder, right? Mario Wonder,
a Switch OLED, and then there's also like 3 months of NSO.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 3. Yeah, I did the Mario 10, like the red one, because I was like, oh, wow, a red Mario system, which I can't find that system after I moved, so I got to find that or wherever. But yeah, I remember I bought that one. I don't know if I'll do this one, though, because it's not like a branded system, you know. It's just a regular Switch white OLED, so.
Yep, and it's $350, so they're basically like, hey, we'll throw Mario Wonder in, and that's it, you know. Yeah. And I mean, I was trying to figure out the scenario of someone who would buy this, knowing that the Switch 2 is right around the corner, but I guess maybe somebody wants the OLED and
somebody who doesn't know the Switch 2 is around the corner. Maybe
that's all I can think of.
They don't know, or they're not going to buy it. Like they're just not going to buy it at launch, so they just say, "I just want this," you know. Because there's still people buying. There are people that know that Switch 2 is coming, and there are some people that are still buying Switch 1.
Right. I mean, there's gonna be people who break their system and they're like, I don't want to wait for the Switch 2. I'll just buy it now and that kind of thing. Or
yeah. That was like the Xbox 360, remember? Like people, like you get Red Ring of Death. Screw it. I'm not waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you had a free warranty. People would usually just buy another one, send that one off, and wait for it to come back after a month. So it was, that was a lot of 360 that sold just to the same person over and over again.
Yeah, I bet because you had that store, right? So I bet you guys got like a million of those.
Oh, we had Red Rings stacked up like crazy. At one point, we were buying them by like the pallet, and the systems we were getting Red Ring systems for like $15 a pop, and that's when the 360s were like $300 each. Just you buy 100 of them at a time, and they did, you figure out what each cost was after the lump sum, and it's like it was crazy. So that's my life. There was a year where my life was just going to the store and fixing like 8 360s in a day and then leaving.
We needed somebody draw a picture of John with just 360s stacked up at him,
dude,
just
it was
like the Home Alone or something.
Dude, I'm telling you.
We need somebody to have that picture.
It was 360s all day, every day. That's all it was.
Or you jump into it like Scrooge McDuck. It's like you jump into like a 360 pit.
Yep.
Just
it was like that. Yeah, it was crazy. You're stacking them up like towers of them. Man, that was nuts back then. And people actually came in and bought like games at the counter and stuff. They weren't just downloading them all the time. It's a different time.
Different time.
I still go buy physical games.
Hey, shout out to Fransby gifting 20 Spawn Wave memberships.
Yo,
may or may not be Todd Howard.
Yes, sir. Fransby, what's good, baby? Good stuff, man.
And Nintendork says, "Hello there, lovely people."
I wonder what that could be about. That's weird.
I don't know what that's about.
That's really strange.
Oh, this is from Fishfan, who says, "Spawn, OJ, and Josie, thanks for bringing back the live shows. What are your thoughts on the OLED dock functionality that might carry over to Switch 2? Dock functionality. Oh, I mean, probably a network or Ethernet port. I assume that'll be on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think the USB ports and stuff. I think all those inputs are going to be the same as well on the Switch 2, is what people were saying. I don't know if the dock is really good. People are pretty fascinated with the dock. I think it's gonna be that same situation of the Switch 1, where people thought that the dock was going to be really, really important and interesting, and it kind of wasn't. It was all in like the Switch. I think it's gonna be very similar with the Switch 2. So
yeah.
But I mean, it'd be nice if there was something hidden in there, but I'm not expecting it.
Do you think that they're gonna do something with that top USB? I keep seeing mock-ups of like plug-in screens and shit. It looks really cool.
Everybody has all these visions of what that top USB port's going to be, and I have a feeling Nintendo, like when they were working on this thing in R&D, looked at, they may have looked at some of the other devices that are out there now with that, and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's put a top port there so people can charge when it's standing.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I think. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Charge it while it's So,
now it would be cool if they said, "Oh no, that's how we're going to do the top screen, and we're going to move DS and 3DS to this thing." Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Because in a way, they'd be able to kind of sell you sort of another Switch again and a screen. But I wouldn't count on it. Yeah. Although it'd be funny if they released a bracket where you have to buy a whole other Switch to do it. You have to put two Switches together.
Oh my god,
okay, that's too crazy.
That's great. That's huge.
Yeah, that'd be too big.
I like the idea. I like some of those mock-ups, like in a perfect setting, and they want to try it. I would buy it absolutely, but I don't know it seems like there's a lot that would go into that. I wonder how much that would cost, like just for the screen, like $150 minimum,
yeah,
200.
At least like 150 probably.
Perfect Image says Game Freak should make a Yu-Gi-Oh.
That'd be a crossover.
Brady says need Shuhei Yoshida versus Jim Ryan on the podcast. Just duke it out.
Shuhei was just talking, man. He just let it flow.
He was all over the place. It was crazy out there.
Talking.
See, we do have update in Call of Duty. Actually, Josie, you play Call of Duty?
She's
not
frozen.
Much. Am I frozen?
Yeah, she's paralyzed by Call of Duty.
No.
Oh, your video is.
Is my video actually frozen? Fuck.
At least
we did it on the thing last time too.
Me it is.
Now she looks surprised.
Hold on, I'm shocked. I'll be back in a sec.
That's fine.
That's good.
You play Call of Duty, Josie?
Not too much. I was playing the campaign for a bit, and then I sort of fell off and have started playing Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze again. So, not super, but.
Well, they did an update, and part of the update was a new level, and it's actually kind of cool because the game now is. They have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game. They moved them in. It's like a whole collaboration. So they did a skate park. That was the idea for the new level. Well, in that skate park, which I think it's called like Grind Rail, or it's Grind something, referencing obviously skateboarding. Well, in that level, there is a sign that appears to show March 4th, 25 or 3/4/25. And it looks like with the Tony Hawk, the game, Tony Pro Skater the game website now has a countdown. Seems like we're getting a new Tony Hawk game.
Very hype.
Yeah, see, I thought about this. Like, I don't know what, because I know OJ, when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 was coming out, did you order the special edition with the board, OJ?
I do. I still have it. I'm trying to figure out how to put it in my game room that I have here that I'm building.
So, okay, so I was going to say, I remember you bought the whole, like, special edition, the board, everything.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where I do see a lot of people who are mentioning it like they're really excited for it. And I think the most recent one, 1 and 2, is the best-selling one. I think it sold like 2 million copies or something, and they said that's the best-selling one in the franchise. So it's funny, I see a lot of excitement, and I'm like, I wonder if it just doesn't seem to add up to the 2 million that I see sold lifetime for that. It feels like it should be more just based on how many people are excited for it. But it seems like 3 and 4, 3 plus 4. Those would be the next one, obviously. It makes sense.
I know those are better, I guess, but I don't have the attachment to 3 and 4 as I did 1 and 2.
Yes.
I was skating. I skated more than 20 years ago. I used to skate hardcore. I used to go and skate and try to get sponsored and all of that. So I was really into it when it first came out. I think the first game came out, was it 98? 97?
The first one came out in, it was 25 years last year. So it'd be 99.
99. So
I believe.
I was skating in 99 all the way up until like 2000, like 2005 or something. So I really liked Tony Hawk's Pro. Like I like identified with it, you know. But by 3 and 4, I had already kind of stopped, you know, and was doing football and doing other things. So like I didn't play them like that, you know. So I wouldn't be as hyped for 3 and 4. Not that they're not good, but I just wouldn't be as hyped for them because the nostalgia just isn't there for 3 and 4 for me. Although I did play 3 a lot. But it's just not there like 1 and 2 was, you know. 2 in particular is like one of my favorite games of all time. Like
2 is huge. When that came out, it was craziness. It was mayhem online.
Oh my
back
gosh,
then, even way back when we had the message boards going crazy.
The forums were lighting up on how to do tricks and oh my gosh, and like all this different type of stuff that you can get and the secrets. People would make fake characters that you could unlock. It was just oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah, Spire Jazz online. Yeah, there were message boards back then too. Oh yes, there were a couple. There were a few. There's that video I did where I went back to like the old days, and that message board goes all the way back to 98. I didn't go that far back, but yeah, people were posting back then on dial-up connections. Some may have been posting on their Dreamcast even actually.
I used to
like
go on this
in 99
website called Game Revolution, and they had like a little chat room. You could just go there and talk all sorts of smack. It's like Twitter, but just like way more ghetto. Like, and we used to go there and say all sorts of stuff there, and yeah, it was fun. It was new, right? It was different, like compared to how it was. Like, you know, usually you have to be like right there in the same room as someone, but now you can do it over the internet.
Yep, game FAQs came around. There was game winners. There was a couple of places where people would post, but yeah, that was like the early days that I remember, like posting about online about video game stuff. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was a big deal because they got it to like 60 frames I remember on the PS2, it was huge. People were super hyped about it there. And it did look noticeably better, obviously, PS1 to PS2 at that time. But you're right, I have more attachment to 1 and 2, but this does make a lot of sense to go, obviously, to 3 and 4. And eventually, I guess, Underground will happen too.
Yeah,
so
Underground, American Wasteland, or American whatever.
American Wasteland was a big one.
And then there's that, and there's like more. There's like Underground, right? Which one's Underground?
There's Underground 1 and 2, and that's when they had Bam Margera come in at one point.
Yeah, that was acting all. That was like the Jackass days, like back when Jackass was so popular, you know. They
started losing me, I think, with the second one, maybe because they started doing like lawnmowers, and it stopped being kind of a skateboarding game, and it was like an adventure game, I guess. More, it was really weird. I know people do like it. I know there feel like Underground 2 is this person's favorite. I get it, but it was funny from what started out as like with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, where it was pure skateboarding, like that. It got a little out.
You got against lawnmowers, bro.
I'm just saying, I was like, I got the new Underground game, and it's like, all right, start your engines. You're driving around on the lawn. It's like, oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yes, yeah. That was very popular.
John hates lawnmowers. I want to put that out there. John hates lawnmowers.
The lawnmower hates me. Don't worry. Josie, okay over there?
This is such a random thing to say. He's like, oh, there was lawnmowers. Oh.
Why? It was weird. It was strange.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's not that funny.
StreamYard like won't grab my camera for some reason.
Okay, you're all right. You're all right.
I'll be a
You
voice.
look surprised at everything I say.
I'm shocked.
Okay.
Josie, do you have anything against lawnmowers? I just gotta ask you real quick.
Well, I think they're pretty chill.
Okay, cool. So you're better than John.
Did you did you play any of the Tony Hawk games back in the day, Josie, or even now, technically?
I did. I played the one on the Wii that had the board. And then
Oh
did,
my
like,
gosh,
tricks on
is that your introduction to the franchise?
Yeah, that thing was
Oh
awesome.
my gosh.
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Wait, I loved it.
Oh, I guess it'd be
bad?
good for a kid. It'd be good actually. No,
I don't
that's-
remember, like, yeah, I just remember loving it. I
Was
haven't
that
played it
Shred?
recently. I think so.
What was that?
No, downhill jam.
Oh, there's downhill. There's also there was one with the board. There were two games with the board, right? I remember Shred. Oh man, I kind of feel bad for you, Josie, if that was like your introduction to the franchise.
Yeah, there was Tony
Well,
Hawk.
you seem to like it. So.
Or no, it's downhill. That's the one on the Wii, but I don't know if that has the board or not.
Okay, it's Ride and Shred is what Justin said. I do remember Shred. That I think was the second one. Ride, I think, was the first one where Tony Hawk was at, like, went to, I think he was at E3 at one year, and he was really trying to sell this thing. And they figured out that, like, someone had their dog. It was on YouTube, and they put their dog on the board, and it was doing all the tricks just by walking around it. So,
Yeah, sorry, Downhill Jam is just the crappy one that came out like a cross-gen one. Like
Brogan says it was a racing game.
Yeah, that was what Downhill Jam was. That thing sucked, man. I rented it. I was like, this is terrible.
I played one on the PS3. I don't remember what it was, but
Project
I did.
8?
Maybe I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty good. That was like the more like realistic-ish.
Yeah, I
one.
remember just like skating around in kind of an open area and having fun with it.
Project 8.
Yeah, so if so when they drop this, I assume what's going to happen. Here's like the order of events. I think on the 4th of March they're going to announce 3 and 4, and I think that'll probably. I don't think that's getting Shadow Drop. I think that's a few months out. Maybe that seems like a good summer game, like a nice June, July game. And I think they put 1 and 2 into. I think that goes in the Game Pass. Like I don't think it's in Game Pass right now. Am I wrong? I'll double check. If it's not in there, they'll drop it in. If it is in there, you should download it, Josie. So either way. But that now it's like pick up and play, arcade, fun skateboarding. And they have like objectives in the levels, and you go around and you have to collect skate. So you got to collect all the letters in skate. So anyone in the chat, let me know if it is in Game Pass or not. I don't think it is right now, but I might be wrong. So let me know. But it's if they dropped it in there, we don't talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. That was a shame. It was very bad. It was a very bad game.
I mean, they really kind of lost me after 3 and 4. Although I did play Underground. I thought that one was cool. I thought Underground was dope.
Yeah, when they did Underground, the first one, that was good. You made your skater and you rose the ranks from starting out riding around in the neighborhood up to like being pro skater. That was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend that, Josie. If you get a chance, you download it. It's not a big game or anything, and it's immediate. There's no story or nothing. You make your character, or you pick an already made one, and they just throw you into the level and you skate around for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I really like. I played like some BMX game really recently, and I loved it. So.
Yeah, it's going to be similar to that because they had like back then it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater and they had Matt Hoffman Pro BMX, and on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, the PS1 disc, they had a demo for Matt Hoffman BMX, and you could do a 2-minute run in that. Each run's 2 minutes, though, Josie. That's it. So it was like
very cool. Okay.
So yeah, I'd recommend downloading, give it a shot if it goes to Game Pass. Could look now, but I would assume that's the announcement is it's going to be in there, and that they would 3 and 4 probably coming later this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I will get it right away. What's interesting is it's being done by Iron Galaxy. So I was not expecting that because Vicarious Visions got moved to Blizzard Albany. I thought they would have just had a Blizzard logo on this thing. But now apparently it's Iron Galaxy, who had their own issues recently. But from what I heard, they've been working on this thing for a couple years. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess they'll talk more about it when they reveal the thing, that maybe Iron Galaxy is doing work on it. So that's good though for the future of Tony Hawk if they are continuing it. Tony Hawk seems really on board. He posted on his Instagram about it. There was a pro skater that talked about it on the Breakfast Club randomly.
Wow.
So I go, I'm in this video game for Tony Hawk. It'll come out later this year. It's like, all right, thanks. We weren't supposed to announce that yet, but good to know.
Cool.
That's how it's been with these skate games. Like we found out about the new skate game that they're gonna do from like a musical artist like months before they announced it. So the video game world is secretive for some reason, and no one gets it outside of gaming. They just talk about the stuff. So let's go over to, you know what, while we're here, let's talk about the Nintendo Gold Points real quick. The rewards are ending. Gold point vouchers won't work on Switch 2 games. This was big. People were like messaging me as soon as this thing got announced that there would be no, like, gold points would no longer be a thing after it's the end of March. So like just before the Switch 2 announcement, like a week before, they're getting rid of the gold points. And it, you know, it's kind of a shame because I have used those many times to just outright pay for games.
Like, me too.
Especially during sales. Like if there's a sale and you see a game randomly that's like $6 for some reason, like 80% off, then you just have the gold points covered. It is nice. It is nice to have that.
It's super nice, and it even works on like the games that Nintendo gives me, like the
Oh really?
Yeah, it works on like the review copies. It works on like that. So it was like, yeah, I just got like, it was just like free, which was pretty cool. So it sucks that it's ending, you know. But I'm guessing that they're gonna do something for Switch 2, and they want people to start buying stuff on there. That's my only guess why. But yeah, but even if not everyone's gonna migrate over to Switch 2 initially, so it sucks that they're not gonna have that reward system, you know, for however long you play the Switch 1, because there's still gonna be people playing Switch 1, you know, even after Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you're right. That's I have to assume that they're doing something else. That just seems random to say. Nope, it's gone completely. It's not. Oh yeah, this isn't going to work for Switch 2 because they said that for the voucher system. Said the vouchers don't work for Switch 2 games. They could have just said that about their rewards program moved on. So it kind of makes you wonder if they have something else planned. I have to imagine that worked well for them to have that gold points just as one little extra incentive. It's like what, 3 or 4% back or something?
Yeah, on a $60 game, I think you got $3. So I think it's a pretty low percentage.
But I mean, that's for people who are like, oh wow, okay, technically the game's $57, and then just over the course of a year, you quietly build up this little bank
if you buy digital games, it definitely adds up for sure. You know, the
physical games, you can register those too, and you get points as well.
Yes,
which is kind of neat. Just an extra thing there. I think it's less just because the logistics of making the cartridge and shipping it's going to cost them more money.
Yeah.
But
and like sometimes they would give you extra points for certain games. Like it didn't happen a lot, but there was some games where you would get like double gold points, or you'd get like a pretty good, not a lot though, just sometimes. So yeah,
I kind of feel like this. The other thing what people talk about the Switch 2 a lot as like, what's the hardware going to be? What are the games going to be? I still think one of the more interesting parts is going to be the online with your account system. And this does make me wonder if there is a bit more to it with something like the rewards, or I would say achievements, but they have like the platinum points now, coins that they're still doing. But all of that maybe tied to your account a bit more, like, because when you go to the store, it's a web page technically that's dressed up really well. That's stuff like that makes me wonder if this is all more towards like the bigger picture of there just being more integration for your account system, the online store. Again, like I don't say achievements, but something that they would kind of work into where you get points in this case for buying games, or maybe for doing different accomplishments, we'll say, in games, stuff like that. Just tie it all together.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do, because that web page is laggy. And like, you know how where you go to like unlock, like use your points to unlock like different avatars and stuff. If all that stuff was integrated and faster and just like integrated better, plus like their little weird custom achievements that they have, like play this game or do this thing and you unlock this, like if they could tie that all together and make it more, I think that'd probably be pretty cool, you know. But it's just, you got to go to a separate thing. Like you have to go to a little Nintendo Switch icon, like Nintendo Switch Online icon, and then you got to go from there, then like press the button over and over and do stuff. So I'm hoping they actually integrate that better. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be my hope, because it needs help. Like that's the biggest thing I notice about the Switch is it's just slow in a lot of the menu systems now, and that happened with a lot. Like remember the 360 when it first showed up on the market, super fast. Like the blade system, it was just jumping around, no problem. Then they kept doing a little more and a little more, and eventually you get to the end, and it's like, man, this thing is kind of slow to get around.
Yeah. Well, the Series X is pretty good. Now I'm just talking about now, and it's pretty good, right? Like
oh
now,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. But yeah, I remember when they would update it, and yeah, it was slow compared to the Blades. But the Blades, it was so simple, you know, it was just, you know, whatever.
Get to play your game.
Yeah, I liked it though. I did not hate the Blade. I thought it was cool. I thought it worked well for what it was, you know, at that time.
Yeah, I think Nintendo in general, with a lot of the stuff they're going to implement in the system, I have to imagine the OS itself is going to be much faster. And that's funny because technically it's fast now, but just when you go to the NSO icon, for example, it'll jump you right to the page. It won't be, okay, hold on, we're going to load, black screen. Okay, now it's back. Hold on, there's something spinning. We got to wait a little longer. And it's kind of like when we went from the PS3 to the PS4 and they had the storefront more integrated and it was a bit faster to jump around. I went to the PS3 somewhat recently, like a month ago, and explored it a bit. It's pretty slow. But like,
I remember the PS3 just being terrible. I remember going through it and being, because I didn't do online, like where you use like an app. We didn't have app. I don't know if there was apps or web fronts, because that's what I do with the Switch. I don't even go on my Switch anymore because it's bad. So, but the PS3, we didn't have that, so you had to go in there and like type things in. I just remember it being really slow from what I remember when I was buying games on PS3. So,
yeah, that's one of the big things I'd like to see them improve. Just quality of life is just navigation of the online, and maybe then that would allow them to implement. I know people want Miiverse back or some kind of community thing so much.
The C button, the C button, John.
Community,
the C button. It's gonna be something. Chat, community, C-verse instead of Miiverse, communityverse.
It does feel like Nintendo's missing a little bit of that right now, like the community stuff. I mean, you go into Splatoon as an example, and that is very connected with the lobby and people drawing stuff, and I don't know, something like that would be kind of fun for Nintendo to do. But I kind of wonder if they're just a bit concerned with a lot of stuff.
They're probably concerned.
Yeah. Let me go over to, let me see if I had some of the super chats here that I may have missed. Let me just make sure I got everything. Here we go. Darth says, "What's up, everyone? Were you a fan of Halo Wars?" At first, I wasn't as much of a fan, but then I ended up becoming a fan because when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's not the Halo game." I didn't think it was going to be this, like the RTS with a controller. Little weird, I will say that, but I got used to it a bit, and it grew on me some. So, still not my favorite Halo game, not by far, but I respect it more. I'll say that. Yo, OJ, great to, this is from Massive Recon, says, "Yo, OJ, great to see you on the show, brother. Live is where it's at. Spawn, you got a video with the PS5 one beep of death fix. We need one. I'll fix for a friend. A one beep of death. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Like you press it once and it just shuts right off immediately." If that's the case, that seems to be like a general hardware failure, and I saw that with one that was shorting out at one point. I had to clean the board really well because some of the liquid metal got out. That was one that I was technically putting back together, so if you didn't open it up, it's hard to say. Mike says, "When are you guys going to invite Jack Boone back to the podcast?"
Wait, you didn't read his name, bro.
I read plenty of it.
Why didn't you read his name?
I read Mike. That's his whole name
right there. But what about his last name is Hawk?
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of reading right there. I'm already going to Mike. Yeah, we can have Jack move back on. That was fun. We were talking about PlayStation and stuff. We can back on for something again with that. Lemstar says, "Every time I open X, I'm met with clips of cringy Xbox podcasts where they hold the line. Those corny doozy group therapy. Oh man,
they're done with holding the line's a joke at this point. They're done with holding the line, but it's still fun though. It's fun."
All right, let's go over to Avowed. This is a good one. Avowed is out now, and it is quite the topic online.
I've seen.
People are fighting over this game quite a bit, which is very interesting to me because I've played about 7 hours of it now. I spent a little bit of time with it.
It's so weird, the fighting that's going on about this game. Are we talking about the whole thing, or are we just talking about just the gameplay thing? Like normal people or the crazy people? Which one are we talking
I mean, it's pretty much whatever, anything really, because at this point it's hard to ignore it. Whenever I see it in the timeline, people are rarely talking about the game itself. They're talking about like all the things around it, and when they do talk about the game, it's mostly discussing what it necessarily wasn't trying to be, which is fun, which is really funny. It gets a lot of comparisons to Skyrim. I've noticed that, even though they say they weren't trying to make a Skyrim. That wasn't their plan. And I don't think that's I look at what Obsidian's doing right now, and I don't think they're going for the, hey, let's make one game every 7 years kind of mentality. They released Avowed just now. They're releasing Outer Worlds 2 I assume towards the end of this year. So they'll have 2 big releases in 1 year. That's already a big deal for most studios. I think they have 250 people, I think, staffed up right now is where they are. And they're constantly they're doing updates for Grounded. Like they do a lot right now. And if they get Outer Worlds 2 out by the end of this year, they'll release 5 games in 6 years. That seems pretty good for what Microsoft is looking for, which is, let's be quantity for Game Pass. Sure. Yeah. That's what they're looking for right now. So Obsidian does fit into what their plan and their strategy is currently. So when I was looking at Avowed this whole time, I was kind of thinking, okay, that I don't think they're making something with the scope of Oblivion or Skyrim. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. So as I'm playing through it, it's a very streamlined and more, I'd say, arcadey feeling a Skyrim or Oblivion. So it's not an open world. It's what they call that open zone, where you have areas that you basically will teleport to or travel to. And then you get there and it's a very predefined amount of space you can wander around in. But it's smaller, so it's more condensed. So it is kind of that mentality of, do I want the big sprawling open world with large patches of nothing, or do I want smaller area with stuff maybe every 10 feet? And that's kind of what this feels like. You turn around a corner and there's something going on. So I haven't necessarily felt bored exploring, and that's sort of what I've been doing. I'm in the first area still, and I'm just kind of wandering around finding stuff right now. And it's been pretty good in that sense. The combat is better than Oblivion, Skyrim, anything like that. It's very good. So you can dual wield basically if you want a spell book in one hand, and I have a dagger that's on fire in the other. And I just wander around just shivving people with it, and it lights them on fire, and it works well. Your spell book, you look at it and you get a whole range of spells: ice, fire, lightning. And that's pretty straightforward. You have a dodge, you can sneak. You cannot steal stuff in the game. So that's become a whole thing. And from what I've noticed, and I noticed it pretty quick, and other people did too, the NPCs don't really move. They're kind of stuck where they are in place. And I guess the idea is that they didn't want to go down the route of, let's have NPCs that have kind of their time of day rituals and their own timelines, where they wander around, they'll go to work, they'll do all this stuff. It is a very static environment that you exist in and explore.
I mean, and I think the problem is because it seems like people were expecting, even though they never said it was going to be that, people were expecting the Skyrim type of thing. But
it looks like it should be that. That's the thing.
But if you play JRPGs, that is literally everything in JRPGs. They don't some JRPGs will have it to where they have their routine and do more like Skyrim, but most, like, Metaphor is awesome, right? And it's just the people just stand right there, or they might walk. One lady just walks around in the kitchen like in a circle. Like, she don't even serve people no food or anything like that. She just she just she just walks around in the first big area. She just in the tavern. She just walks around in a circle in the kitchen. She's not even serving. She's not doing her job. But yeah, I mean, like, I looked at this and I thought that the controversy was kind of silly. I guess maybe because the game is $70. Is that why people are kind of like up in, like, if you buy it, it's Game Pass, but if you buy it, it's $70. Is that why people are kind of upset? Maybe.
I guess I would say it is an above average game. People are saying it's like the worst game they've ever played or something.
What?
It is
people
a fun
are saying
game.
That the worst game? It's got like an 80.
People are saying it's terrible, and I'm like, I don't see that. It's pretty good. Like, I'm playing it, I'm having fun with it. I will say this: the dialogue with the characters, I just don't really care much about the characters that I'm interacting with. So there is that. Okay. But I'm not the biggest immersive sim person. Okay. So I do kind of appreciate a lot of the quality of life or fast track moments. For example, I have a gun as well, like a big rifle. and when you fire it, you don't have bullets. It just takes away from your stamina. You just wait for your stamina to charge back up. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that means I don't have to go look for ammo all the time in what might turn into kind of a survival situation.
Salvage.
I don't have ammo. Like that. Yeah. So in that mind, sense, I'm like, okay, that just kind of keeps things moving, consistently. So that kind of stuff I don't mind. In fact, at times I prefer it. Whereas when I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I do recognize as a very good game, but I also understand it's not really one that I'm as into because it's not lining up with what I want because there's so much stuff that you have to account for.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm playing a game and my character starts getting hungry, it's like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't my game. It's like I already got to worry about that in real life, man. I gotta.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the hunger. The hunger. I like the Hunger Games, but I'm not a fan of the hunger. The games and all that. So yeah, I agree. I've never been a huge fan of having to like eat or like sleep or kind of. I mean, unless it's like relative to like a certain aspect, like if it's like control. But if it's like all the time, my dude's always hungry and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I'm not big on that. But yeah, like from what I saw some pretty cool stuff. There's like this one guy, this Xbox dude on Twitter. He's like constantly finding out like different things. Like you can like make like an ice spell, then like walk across like water when you make like an ice spell. Like you can like walk on the water, like different things like that. So I'm guessing like there's some cool like creative things that you can do like with the combat or with the spells and stuff.
Yeah, so there's interaction with different elements. Lightning, for example, you can throw it in the water and it will just shock everyone who's standing in that pool of water. Fire, people will light on fire, but it doesn't have. People were noticing that there wasn't as much effect, say, on the environment around you. Like if you set things on fire, it won't actually spread. Or so I understand that aspect when I see people mention, hey, it's missing elements that I remember from this game from 15 years ago or something. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but clearly this is that situation that I kind of think of with Insomniac at times where they understand that there is a limit to the scope that they have internally because they have to be onto their next game to make. And it's like, we can keep this thing in development for another 4 years and do all that stuff, but that ends up being an 8-year project. It's like, how much money and time are we pouring into this thing? Kind of thing, Yeah.
No, I think if the game came out, if it was cheaper, I think people would probably chill out a little bit more.
I thought about that a bit. Yeah, like if it's a $50 game, maybe that wouldn't be as big.
If it's like a 50, because they're comparing it to Skyrim, and like the problem is that comparing it to Skyrim was like this crazy game. You know what I'm saying? Like Skyrim, they thought of everything, and it took them that was like a big 6. Oblivion came out in what? In 2000.
That was the year after 360. So like 2006. Like it was
and then
like
Skyrim
4 or
came out
5 months after it.
2011.
Yeah, we're still waiting for 6.
Yeah, so think about that. This is the 360 days. We got the 360 PS3 days. We got 3 Uncharted games in like a span of like 5 years or something like that. So back then you could get games like we got games way quicker. We got Mass Effect 1 through 3 from 2007 to 2012. Like that never happens in today's day. So Skyrim had a development period that was really long. Like you see in today's day, Skyrim had that back in the 360 days. So like they put so much into that. And I understand, like I get it, like the technology's better. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's like acceptable, but I'm just saying like Skyrim's like a whole different beast. You know what I'm saying? Like what they did with that game, it's just like a completely different thing. It's almost gonna be like Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of games aren't gonna put, that type of like effects and physics and all that type of stuff into the games, because that just with today's graphics that takes a long time. Like that takes forever to do stuff like that. But I get it. I get why people are upset, with some of the things, or maybe if they expected more. Like I completely get that.
Yo, Jordan, you want to jump in?
Whoa.
Yo, Jordan, what?
Whoa.
I picked a good night to be here. Yo, let's go.
You can get Jordan in. You can hop in. Let me drop you a link, Jordan.
I just ran around my house like a maniac to reset the router.
Oh.
I reset the router. I pulled out the fiber cable and put it back in, and then it.
Wow.
Are you at school right now, or are you back at your place?
I'm in school, but I'm like at the place that I kind of live at. But
okay, yeah, you explained that situation. Okay, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I seem to fix it.
We have really good Wi-Fi when it works. It's just like the most inconsistent thing in the world.
When it works, it's good. It's like the light in Nigeria when I go there. When it works, it's really good. but a lot of the times it doesn't work, so it just cut out.
So I will say with Avowed, something that is very good. I just saw someone mention in the chat as well. I was about to mention it. Is the traversal with the parkour is pretty good. Like vaulting over stuff, you don't really have too many limitations with climbing. So if you jump next to something that has even kind of a ledge, your character will pull yourself up, and so getting around is much better than Skyrim and Oblivion and those kind of comparisons. Yes. So
cool.
that's probably the strongest part to me about it is most like just exploring the world,
the gameplay,
looking around, finding stuff.
The game, like the combat in terms of how it looks kind of better. Like just like the visceral feel of it from what I've seen. I haven't played it yet though.
Yes, it does. Oh, look, Jordan Fringe is here. I think.
Jordan, my man. He's getting
back of Yu-Gi-Oh's here. Okay, that's fine.
Shout outs to Yu-Gi-Oh.
And the visually speaking, it also looks good. I have it on the Series X, and it runs at performance 60 frames per second, but it looks good. Like it's Unreal Engine 5 as well, so it's not one that looks all blurry or Vaseline smeared. That's common for some of these UE5 games. So I think all things considered, for what I was expecting out of it, it's about right. It's not. Oh,
whoa!
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt in the middle. Hi,
there he is.
What's up, Jordan?
Jordan.
What's going on, guys?
How much of Avowed did you play?
I downloaded it.
Huge.
That's a start. I have not downloaded it.
Yeah, why can't I have Infamous 2 to replay? I don't need to.
Infamous 2? You fired the PS3 up for that?
Infamous.
No,
I
was streaming it from the service. I was trying that out, see how well it worked.
Okay. How's that going?
It was really good though, so I don't blame you.
It was working out well. It was playing good, so it was a nice time playing that, and that has my interest over Avowed currently. So
to bring Infamous back.
Yeah, I would say Avowed being on Game Pass does help for most people, of course. And hey, I'll be playing through. Apparently, it's like a 30-hour game, so 7 hours or so. I'm working through it. We'll see. Apparently, the other area is pretty good too. Sean's in like the third area right now. He's like rolling through this game. So I wanted to see what his thoughts were on it, wherever he is out there.
He took
Jordan.
the first like 20 minutes of Game and Talk to talk about it the other day, actually. So
I had a whole slot open right here for him to talk about it because he's like, I talked about it for a good chunk of Game and Talk. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll have Avowed. It'll be there. He's like, cool. And now he's gone. So we may have to check on him. Nick's lost by like 40 points yesterday. We got to make sure it's all right.
Did you check on him? Was there raisins involved? Make sure there's no raisins involved with this guy.
I'm telling you. Man. Oh, okay. Never mind. Here we go. Okay, good. Gene, I got you.
Wow, what a squad tonight.
Shout out to Gene. Gene coming through, man. I think Gene. Now you know what it is. I think people do actually want to talk about Avowed quite a bit because it is such like a contentious topic right now online.
Avowed. I saw videos from people with really
I got you,
huge
Gene.
text on the screen that said it flopped and its sales are bad. That's what I saw on Twitter. So
those people are usually really highly educated as well.
They are usually.
Traditionally.
I think Avowed
college repellent for a lot of those people.
High school repellent for some of them.
For Avowed sales, I'd hold off for a while because I think that's gonna be an Outer Worlds situation where like Outer Worlds hit 5 million copies sold, and it took a little while, but I think that could be the same situation for Avowed where after like 3 or 4 years, like, hey, we sold 5 million copies, something like that. So
I just didn't like the fake physical. That's the only thing that I if it was.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just. I hate to say it. That's just. I don't think there's a disk drive in the next system.
I just didn't like that. I probably would have copped it if there was a real physical, because I was like, oh, there's a physical. Oh, but it's a code in the box, and I'm like, I was So that was my thing.
Yeah.
Because I buy like the Skyrim and stuff like that. Like I bought like every version of Skyrim. I bought like what was it, Oblivion? Like I bought all that crap. So.
Gene's on the way. Gene's on the way. How you been doing, Jordan?
I've been good. How's everyone been doing?
Good.
All right.
It's good. You dealing with the whole Pokemon TCG thing right now? I saw people fighting in Costco over it.
Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, I feel like this happens. Always on the cusp of anniversaries. Like every 5 years, this stuff kind of happens. And next year's the 30th anniversary, and the sets are just getting a lot more exciting with the artworks on the cards, and it just drives up a crazy market. And obviously, right now, it's the biggest it's been. More people know about the TCG. It gets publicized more. This isn't anything new. It's just louder, and it's annoying. It's definitely pushes you away from wanting to even collect if you collect or play or anything. But it is what it is at the current moment. You can't really do much about it until it slows back down.
Okay. Yeah, we were doing Click R3, and Ryan was trying to buy these Magic the Gathering cross Final Fantasy cards.
Oh, jeez,
that was going crazy with that.
They're
that
so
pretty cool.
Pricey.
Yeah, he sent me a link for the Amazon ones he was buying. I was like, my gosh, dude, these are crazy. They're like $20 like a pack, or it was something crazy.
Hey, there's Gene.
Gene's here. Gene, what's up?
Hold on, let me retweet you guys.
Oh,
yeah, we got a full squad now. It was only
more.
Let's go.
Hey, there I am.
We got a basketball team right here. We got a 5-on-5.
We do. What's up, OJ?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Happy Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I'm so
launch soon, I guess. It's a month away. I already have the game. That's crazy. That's crazy.
happy. I'm playing it, but you bums can wait a month,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm like the only person celebrating Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Don't worry, Gene. I won't use any of your footage. Don't worry, man.
That's unethical, OJ. How dare you? How dare you? I'm going to talk down to you, OJ. I'm going to condescend to you, dude.
I don't know what bro. I don't know what you're talking about, Gene. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's talk about Avowed, huh?
Don't let these people talk down to you, man. The people in the games media, man. For some reason, they think they're uppity. They think they're some kind of different class of people.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Gene, how you doing over there with Avowed?
Good. Finished Avowed. I'm actually playing my second run, actually. So.
You're going through it again.
Going through it again, on top of balancing, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles, finished Pirate Yakuza, playing Monster Hunter Wilds as well. So it's a busy time. I'm probably not going to be able to finish Monster Hunter in time for review. So. Yeah,
I assume that game is massive.
Of course, Wilds. Yeah, it's another 500-hour game. And here comes Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is also 500 hours. So
yeah,
it could be. So.
Well, the nice thing is Avowed is not that long.
Avowed is short. I beat it in 30 hours, and it's a very short game. What do you guys want to know about? Well, you're playing it now, right? So
I played about 7 hours of it, yeah. So I'm still in the first area wandering around looking at stuff.
You're still at the good part. That's the problem.
The good part?
Yeah, the first area is definitely the best part. They definitely put their best foot forward when they were designing this game, because the second area I don't like. But it had like a decent story, and I think the story just falls off the map by area 3 and 4, basically.
Well, like the opening, they said in the summary, like the opening story, how they kind of introduced it is that there's like a plague that affects souls. Yep. That's why people are growing like mushrooms and stuff out of their head, and they go crazy, right? That's the idea.
It's a dream scourge. It's the fantasy version of the Last of Us, cordyceps or whatever that was. Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're using to sort of pull you through, like, hey, figure it out. And then, there are a few other things that have happened so far where I'm in like an investigation, for example, as you're going around. So it seems pretty basic. I don't know, on the base level here. Does it actually get to a point where it just completely dissolves and falls apart then?
It just stays kind of basic. It just doesn't get that much more interesting, right?
Okay.
And then my biggest problem, and I mentioned this in my review, go check it out. I give it 3 out of 4 stars. So I give it a solid 75%, 7.5, lower than the Metacritic score, which I was surprised was higher. I thought this was a solid 7 out of 10 game for sure. Mm-hmm. But my issue was that as the story goes on, and it continues to stay very simple, but you're amassing these characters. You get this cast of characters, right?
Right. I have 2 of them so far.
Yeah, so you have Garrus Fishman, and you have now Marius, the dwarf guy. Do you like Marius?
Yeah. I've had him for like a little bit now because
I
I
hate him.
once I
I
got
hate
him and
him.
you're doing the investigation, I just wandered off and I'm like, oh, let's go look over here now.
I hate that character. He's
Really?
like a do nothing character. Yeah. So that's the issue. Like all the other characters, they have like no real attachment to the main story, and they literally say, "Well, I got nothing else going on. I might as well just hang out with you." That's what Marius does.
Oh, okay.
Marius literally says, like, well, well, I got nothing else to do. They
I'll just come with you.
literally say, I got nothing else to do, so I might as well hang out and be in this video game with you,
Right.
So
yeah, I will say that a lot of that, like the dialogue and characters, haven't really grabbed me much.
it gets kind of worse later. Because here's the thing, like there are decisions, and they're not very binary. They're not like Renegade or Paragon or whatever. So anyone looking for that kind of experience, like that died in like 2010s. The RPG makers aren't interested in doing like a Sith and Jedi route anymore. But the choices here do kind of matter, and then they don't. I won't spoil anything, but I do. You can do something. You can be fucked up to your party members. So I did make a decision that my party member was like, if you fucking do that, you're going to be doing this or that, and this means that. Like they signal very strongly that they're going to be super mad at you. And I was like, cool. Well, I'm just push the button then, right? And then I push the button, and then the crazy thing happens, and then at the party camp later, feature later, party camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked about party camp yet?
Oh, I haven't talked about that. No, where you can basically teleport or open up a camp, and you can have your different companions there and talk to them individually. Or
exactly. So this game has a party camp feature where there are save points around the world, and you can camp out, and that's it'll create like a camping atmosphere. It'll go to midnight, and then you can upgrade your gear. You can go into your inventory box, and then this is also when you talk to your party members. This is like when this is when the camaraderie of the party is actually like written. Like, there's a lot of writing, but most of the inner party camaraderie is happening during party camp. And then, so after I do this really fucked up thing to one of my characters, we go into party camp, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't believe you did that. You did that." And then like 2 lines later, just like, "Anyways, what are you doing later? You want to eat something?" Like they forget like this crazy thing that I just did to them and like everyone they love, and then they're later like, "Oh, well, what are you doing later though? You want to hang out?"
It happens sometimes when you're homies.
These guys are really ride or die, even though we just met a few hours ago, and they're just tagging along because they have no real connection to the story at all.
That really just sounds like we're regressing in terms of like what can be done in storytelling in video games and how to develop characters, and that's kind of sad to see. And that kind of does turn me away from wanting to even. Like I downloaded it, but I don't even want to start it now.
Oh man, well, it's easy to be negative about Avowed because it is missing a lot, and I think for me, the writing really missed a boat, and that was really what I focus on in my review. Things like people forgetting where you are. So many of your party members are mostly exposition dumps. So like, there's nothing really going on with the party. There's no ongoing story with them. There's no character arcs. There's no like quote unquote loyalty missions that you can finish in this game where you do side quests with your cast members. There's none of that here. Doesn't happen. What instead you have is nothing. It's just kind of conversations that you have.
I thought there was something coming. It was like, I got nothing. It was like,
yeah, there's kind of nothing. You have a lot of conversations, and you kind of get to know them, and then like all they do is they exposit so much. Kai is there to tell you about his people and like what different conflicts they have, and then that so they're basically like regurgitating Pillars of Eternity lore at you. So the third character is going to talk all about necromancy, and then it's like, and then once you're like, I already know what necromancy is. I don't need to like understand like the different layers of bringing people back from the dead and making them alive again.
I've got 2 questions, Gene. Like 2 questions. One, what do you think about lawnmowers? And 2, are there lawnmowers in this game?
Well, I don't understand the reference.
Never mind.
It literally just happened today. I don't even. I'm a little confused.
It was because we talked about Tony Hawk, and I said Underground 2. I thought I was getting a skateboarding game, and like they have you mow lawns in the game randomly. You're racing lawnmowers in it for Tony
Sorry,
Hawk.
Gene. Go ahead.
Well, this game does not have reactive grass, which a lot of people are mad about. So that's
True. Yeah.
that's the discourse around Avowed right now. I see it all over YouTube now. Now that I'm hanging out on YouTube and I'm looking up Avowed videos, all over YouTube, and of course they're being clipped on Twitter or X or whatever. That they're showing differences between Skyrim, where you can like knock everything down off the table, versus Avowed, where you can't do any of that shit. You know. There are reactive NPCs in Skyrim where if you torch somebody, they'll be like, help, help, and then the guards will get after you, just like Skyrim has always done, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Avowed, you can just go into a town and just like cast all kinds of spells, and nobody's reacting to anything, nobody's doing anything, nobody's even really moving. Most of the NPCs are don't move. There are background NPCs that walk around, but they're not characters. They're just flavor text for. They're just flavor in the background for making the city look more populated, but they really don't do anything. All the major NPCs, they're stable to the ground because this game used to be a cooperative Borderlands-like game where you just get quest givers, and of course the quest givers in an MMO or like a Borderlands or Destiny type game, they don't go anywhere because you need to know where the fuck they are so you can get the fucking quests and you can go off and do your looting. But this game doesn't have that, and everyone just it just stays on the floor. So,
can you date in this game?
Nope, there's no dating, no romance.
Boo!
Josie's
I won't
throwing
be,
it out
I
right
won't
away.
be buying that at all.
Zero romance whatsoever.
What is the point?
You know, you do get a character later called Yatsli or whatever, and she talks about sex all the time. She is like one of those millennials that's always just talk about sex. Like, oh my god, I got slayed last night. It was so good. Like that's just how millennials talk,
that
right?
What they did back in the day?
Millennials, I don't know.
Medieval times, I got slayed. Is that what it was for being a hoe back then?
They slayed the boots down.
Yeah. Slayed the
I've
back
been
shots or
slayed.
whatever.
Jesus.
What a great night.
I don't know if that's what. Maybe that's what millennials say. I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, I know Josie's a Zoomer. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking her to judge us millennials, basically, because we can be pretty cringe. So yeah,
Jordan's a Zoomer.
She's actually a cool character. She's a cool character.
I'm a millennial.
But she doesn't do anything in the story. She's literally there to like explain like other forms of magic to you, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, I will say that the thing that I would figure would carry this game even a little bit would be the gameplay and the exploration. That's mostly what I've seen.
I like the gameplay. The combat is fun. The combat reminds me of Dead Island.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting comparison.
That
I guess
wasn't
because of the
selling
first person,
the first person melee at least. Yes.
Melee,
Like,
yeah.
at least
Yeah,
the
you do have
melee, like
blocking.
how it actually feels. Like it feels that heavy. Like and Dead Island felt very, very heavy and very cool. So
I've been using like a rifle, so I'm like standing back and I try to hide. I was mostly playing as a scout.
Yeah.
And I mean, you hit them with the big old like blunderbuss rifle. It takes them out one shot for a lot of them. But I went around doing the different bounties, and that was fine. But although most of the bounties I did, they did feel pretty much the same for a lot of them.
It's just a Borderlands quest, right?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, you have a health bar that pops up that's bigger than most of the enemies you're fighting. You whittle it down, you take the trophy back, you get some gold. And I can see where there was going to be a multiplayer or cooperative multiplayer game, which this game was rebooted twice. There was the Bloomberg article about it. About 80 people worked on it. Rebooted twice. Took about 6 years to get it done, but the second reboot happened after 2 years or so. I guess it took 4 years from start to finish with 80 people to do this game.
Yeah.
Which that tells me the budget wasn't like through the roof high or anything.
No, definitely not. The way I look at this game, the more I played it, because when I first played it, I was really I loved the first 7 to 10 hours, like right where you're at. I was like,
I'm still
man.
right. Okay, yeah.
I was in love with this game. I was like, oh man, the world. I'm learning so much about the lore. Like this is what an interesting lore, the Pillars of Eternity franchise. So after like 7 hours or 10 hours into the first world, I hopped off and I went on the Wikipedias and I watched Mortismo Gaming. Really good creator. Shout out to him. I think it was his video, but he did a lore explainer. What do you need to know for Avowed through Pillars of Eternity? So he caught me up in everything, including what happened at the endings of Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. And then once I learned all that stuff and I went back to the game, I was like, oh, the game is just kind of explaining what I just heard on YouTube, actually. So they didn't really figure out like really great ways to tell the lore and story through the world, as opposed to here is your third party member, and then they're going to talk about all this stuff. That's pretty much what I found.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was less than 50 minutes, like in the 40s. Also, though, they save quite a bit of money on labor in terms of salary.
Much
for their
cheaper studio to run, but yeah. To be fair, KCD2, which I played for like 10 minutes of, and immediately in the 10 minutes, I was way more immersed in KCD2 than I was in Avowed, because Avowed is definitely like a cookie cutter staple to the ground, like, Avatar game. When I played Avowed, after like 20, 30 hours, or by the time I got to the end, I was like, Avowed is a visual novel with really good Dead Island style combat. Some of the best magic casting in RPGs, period, I think.
Magic's very good. That stands out.
Go be a mage in this game. You're going to have a ton of fun. A lot of great area effects, spells, a lot of really, really cool looking spells. The cooldowns are fast, and you can really build towards that. But it's a visual novel, basically, where you can wander around in a 3D environment and just fight a lot of people and find some cool purple colored loot for your legendaries.
Let me ask you this, Gene, actually everyone here, this was mentioned. I shout out to, again, Toxmod mentioned this, that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is less than 50 million. That is the only game that they've made since Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So they work on that franchise, which works well for them, because the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, very good game. Probably going to have, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, game of the year or considerations, I'm sure, for many outlets and everything. And it's sold well, 2 million copies. If Avowed could have been, say, on the level of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but Obsidian didn't make anything else in the last 6 years, would people prefer that, or would they prefer Avowed how it is now, but then having the titles that they've released, and then also Outer Worlds 2 later this year?
Well, personally, I didn't like Outer Worlds. When they said, "Oh, Avowed is going to be like Outer Worlds," I did not have high expectations for Avowed. So when I played Avowed, I was like, "Oh, this is a lot better." And then as I got through it, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like Outer Worlds, actually." It really is. I didn't like Outer. To be fair, I didn't finish Outer Worlds at all. But I just didn't find the writing or the characters that interesting, and the world that interesting too. But that's a great question. I think people need to remember that Obsidian is kind of like the quote-unquote Insomniac of Xbox, in that they've been the most productive and prolific studio since their 2018 acquisition. So this is even before Bethesda and all of them, right? But then they made Outer Worlds, which I think was before the acquisition. But they made Pentiment. They make the Grounded is a really good solid foundation for them in the live service space, other multiplayer space, and then
20 million players on that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's more than anyone playing multiplayer games for Sony first party, except Helldivers, obviously. Which is Helldivers second party. Let's be real, but yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it, because we've talked about this a lot with one of the reasons the Avowed discourse is so interesting is I feel like I see a lot of people say that they would prefer like budgets to get under control, scope to get under control, even amount of time it takes to release games to get figured out. And I kind of view Avowed as kind of disproving that a little bit, because when it comes out and in my mind I go, okay, this does look like that game that probably took them a little more than 4 years to develop after their reboots and stuff. And they didn't have 300, 400 people working on it. And they didn't say, let's take $400 million to do this in 7 years. A lot of the timeline and stuff has been about how the game is missing a lot of stuff that they probably could have done if they went unlimited budget, do all this stuff, go crazy.
For sure, yeah. It probably would be buggy as hell because it's Obsidian, but Bethesda games are obviously not immune to that as well. But obviously, I think Obsidian would have had if they had more time and money. But then we wouldn't have gotten Pentiment, which I haven't played, but I always hear good things, and I own it, and I've been meaning to play that. But so Obsidian is a good studio, and obviously they're not at the quality level that Insomniac has put out. But at least in terms of prolificness, and the quantity of product they're putting out. They're the most consistent studio filling up Xbox's light up besides Bethesda, and Bethesda's a whole publisher,
Yeah, OJ, I think you already know something about the pricing though. I think if it was like we even technically have room now for $60 games to where it's not $70. It's it's $10 cheaper than the full price, right? They could have done something with the pricing that might have helped, but they were. I mean, it's in Game Pass. That might be the way they're viewing it. It's just it's something to to think about as we go along here, because I do think people say that they want all those things, the lower scope, faster release cadences and stuff, but then when they're presented with it, they immediately go against that thought. So I would, yeah.
People are always trying to find excuses to complain because, like, you know, and here's the thing: I'm posting Starfield videos today on Twitter because I'm triggered by those videos of people running around Skyrim, hitting cups and everything like that, and they're like, "Look at this!" Like Asmongold was watching, you know, sorry for bringing him up, but Asmongold was watching Skyrim videos and Oblivion videos, and he was under the realization that he's never played these games before. And he was marveling at the fact that Skyrim and Oblivion had like reactive physics way back in like 2000.
Oh yeah,
9 or in 2012 or 2011. And he was like, "Have I been a dick eater this whole time? Because all I've been doing is playing WoW, and he's never played any other fucking game." You know?
Yeah, but he talks about all of them all day.
He does, yeah, because he talks about a lot of things that he doesn't really know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. That's a lot. And it's not just a him problem. That's a lot. That's a lot of streamers. A lot of streamers are always talking about shit that they don't really know, but you know they're just online every day, so they're just gonna talk about shit. You know,
those are the games where you pick up a bowl for no reason. It's just you pick up a bowl just to do it. Like, it did nothing in the game for you.
I was always encumbered. Like I'm too heavy. I haven't got too much crap. Like Fallout and stuff. Fallout.
That's the thing. I don't mind the idea of the infinite like item bag. I don't mind. I don't. The encumbering thing is always annoying to me too.
I'd always save like a bowl of ramen or whatever they'd have there. Like I gotta have a cheese wedge. You know, I gotta have all that stuff. I gotta sell it later, even though I won't get much money for it. But I gotta sell it.
But everyone's complaining about Cyberpunk and like, you know, like, oh my god, there's no police system and you can't like knock over anything, you can't like do things and everything like that. It's like Starfield had all this shit from day one, you know?
It did. It still got crushed.
Yeah, and everyone fucking hated Starfield anyways, you know? So I
think there's just a lot of people.
Sorry, Josie, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No. Actually, I don't even remember what I was saying. But
like, Josie, but yeah.
Oh, Josie. Oh, my bad. Josie, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know what people want from games anymore these days. Like, you know, you people are just finding ways to hate on games. And to be fair, and I just said a bunch of shit about Avowed that I don't like either. You know, so
like, that's how we normally discuss the game, though.
Yeah. Was that Jordan? I just want a complete experience. I want a game that's fun at the end of the day, where I'm happier more than I am angry at it. You know, and I don't think that's like happening so frequently where I'm like, oh, every game today is crap or anything like that. But I am noticing that I am less willing to play a lot more of these bigger game titles because I do feel a regression. I do feel that there's something that lacks there, and then the waits for what does come out after waiting years and years and years, and it just becomes something that you play and forget about, and it doesn't become this memorable experience that in 10 years I go, wow, I can't wait to play Avowed again. I need to go relive these nostalgic memories for me.
No.
You know, and I feel like that's just been something that's not there. I haven't had many games recently that have made me go, this is an experience I'm really enjoying. It's usually something I'm playing and it's forgotten about in a month because we've moved on to another game.
I like what you said, Jordan, about things like regressing, because like when I was playing Avowed, I was like, why is video game writing getting so much worse these days, honestly, you know? At least in the AAA space, you know, like the writing just feels like worse and worse and worse, you know?
I haven't gotten the feeling from like a lot of the bigger games in terms of like, if we're just talking like Western games, like there still to me hasn't been anything that's replaced Mass Effect. When I replayed the Mass Effect trilogy, the Legendary Edition, I was like, this is still like my favorite, you know? And I still haven't had a feeling as good as, you know, for a Western title for me as Mass Effect. So yeah, I definitely feel like some of what Jordan's saying with some of the games and everything, but you know, we got some games coming out this year. We'll see, what happens this year.
I mean, like there's Dragon Age Veilguard, and I like Dragon Age Veilguard, but the writing is definitely worse than it used to be. Like absolutely 1,000%, you know?
Yeah, it's not good.
Starfield, I liked Starfield a lot. I liked it as a game with systems, but the story sucked. The writing was pretty bad there too, you know?
You can knock everything off the table.
I feel like there's two things that kind of happen with this. I feel one is a lot of these games are trying to build worlds with lore and all this, mythos to them, and they don't spend enough time truly letting it be explored and putting it out there and developing actual interesting things to learn about and discover. And they're also not trusting the audience. They want to, I feel that there's a big like spoon fed and here's everything and here's this information and you don't get to discover things. You don't get to learn the story as it comes. You don't get to have character moments that feel natural. It just kind of, I feel like I'm just noticing it more and more with things. And I've seen a couple comments. Yeah, maybe I am old. Maybe I am jaded about certain things, but I feel like there's just across all of media right now, whether it be movies or anything, everything is being spoon fed. I feel like nothing lets you just take something in and you feel how you feel about it. It's like, this is the thing and here's the explanation and you hate this because this character's bad and this is why they're bad. And instead of understanding something and learning and just playing a game and getting it at the end. And I don't know. I'm feeling that too much with too many things. And it's, I like OJ. I'm on my third time in the last couple of years playing the Mass Effect trilogy again. I feel like that's a game that lets me just figure it out.
It's still so good. If you haven't played it, guys, it's super cheap, and I'm telling you, there's nothing else quite like Mass Effect. Like it's pretty timeless. The first one might be a little rough, although it's way better than the original game. The 360 game barely held up, but it was still fun. But yeah, Mass Effect trilogy is awesome, and like a lot of the stuff that you said, that's like, I'm not trying to compare, but like Mass Effect has so much stuff like the Renegade, the Paragon, a lot of the different things that you can do in terms of the story and the choices and the decisions, and the team members and the loyalty missions, things like that you'd expect, to be in the games. And, Mass Effect has all that, and they're awesome. Like, the ending sequences for most of the games are really good. And yeah, you just don't get that feeling of amazement with a lot of the newer games. I mean, I get it sometimes. Like, for me, Metaphor Refantasio, that game was incredible. And I'm still in a slump after playing that, but it's very rare. Whereas it seemed like it was more frequent in the days, maybe because developers were trying more things and maybe more we're getting like a rehash of what we've gotten. But every now and then something pops up that I'm like, oh my god, that made me feel a certain way. So yeah, as long as I get at least one or two of those per year, I'm okay. Which I usually get at least one or two of those per year, where I'm like, okay, yeah, that was really good. Which I guess kind of sucks, right? Because like a whole year, but I'm not expecting too much when it comes down to it, because there's a lot of different types of games,
And there's constantly great games coming out all the time. It's not to say that there isn't. There always is. This year we'll have plenty of great games across all of genre, any type of genre. So I'm not mad at gaming as a whole. I'm just I guess just dissuade. I'm not disappointed. I can't even say I'm disappointed. There's things that just make me go, that's kind of I'm not into it.
Oh, that's cool. I feel you. I mean, RGT put out a video today for those who the generation.
I watched that video, about how the PS5 and Xbox generation has been boring.
It's been boring.
It's been truly boring. It really has been boring. The security guard at my local weed dispensary, he's a PlayStation gamer, right? And he's always asking me like, Gene, where the fuck is Wolverine? And I was like, well, I don't know, man. They announced it too soon, right? And he was like, I know. And I was like, but there's a lot of other games. He was like, I bought the PS5 for Marvel games, Spider-Man and Wolverine. There are people out there who love first party and are just tapped into that, and there's nothing for them. If you're a Naughty Dog fan, you get one game for this generation. That's
what's lacking.
You don't get shit.
Because I played like in the PS3 era. I get it, they can't make as many, but it just seems because of the Sony is just there's a hole, because Sony tried the live service thing and it didn't work out, and they're backtracking. So we're not getting like, maybe we probably should have had at least maybe like 3 or 4 more big first party games in this generation that we didn't have, because they're canceling live service left and right. So I think that's kind of like, listen, man, Sony's first party games, they're Sony's first party games. Like the PS3 era Uncharted games, we had Killzone games, we had all sorts. They had SOCOM. They weren't the best SOCOMs, but they had SOCOM. They had so much stuff coming out. They had multiple Little Big Planet games in the PS3 era, and like,
oh, I miss Little Big Planet.
And that's like all gone.
Those were so good.
And that filled a lot of gaps, and that filled, like, people got passionate about Sony's first party, and PS4 era a little bit, they reduced, but we had Infamous, we had some stuff, but it just seems like Sony's mistake with with the first party situation really caused this generation to be like a bit for them a bit more lackluster. And then of course Microsoft, I mean, they're rebounding now, but it almost feels like, I don't know, this is a bad analogy, but like the Yankees, because all they did was just go out and get like the best players, and then they just say, oh well, now it's on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost felt like, okay, well, yeah, that's cool that you got all this first party, but it's just like a bunch of stuff that you bought, you know, and now it's going third party. So it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the same vibe as you'd get like before in the past, like when you got Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, you got, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of just cool different types of games that they would put out, and it'd be exclusive. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's a vibe thing for me, but I hope, like I said, every now and then you'll get some good stuff, you know, like that.
What Jordan said earlier kind of struck me, because like what we're seeing in terms of like the boredom and like the kind of like the this inertia that we're seeing in quality in video games is across entertainment, like film. Like look at the fucking new Captain America movie, you know, like it's done worse than their worst one, you know. All of these entertainment products are now being produced by data. It's so much things are driven by data. Like, oh, people like morally gray characters who are hot, so you're just gonna see more of that shit now. You know, you're just gonna see hot characters who are morally gray because the Twitter trends say there's a million tweets about blah blah blah, and like they love this character, so we're just gonna fucking remake this character in another form. There's so many unoriginal stories because people are following trends and data versus people following their heart, I guess, you know, like creating something because they thought of something and they believed in it, and then they wanted to create something beautiful, as opposed to, oh, people will love this shit, and other people that they loved this shit before, so it's definitely going to do this shit again. You know, that's exactly what happened with the live service trend, right? Like that's the biggest worst example of trend hopping. But then also at like very micro levels, in terms of like, oh, this character loves talking about sex because you know, everyone on Twitter is always talking about how horny Baldur's Gate is. Ha ha ha! They fucking love fucking the bear, right? So we should have more of that shit in there, you know. Versus, I don't know, making a character that makes sense in the story.
No, I'm gonna say something, and I want to be very clear with what I'm saying here. We are right now in an age where there is no artistry, right?
Yeah.
But that's not to say that there isn't art, right? That's two different things. There's great products. There's things with passion and soul put into every genre, every medium that you can pick point and go, but this was great, and this artist had passion with this, and that's great. There is still that, and there's always going to be that. But for what's publicized, what's out there, what is put in your face is the most mainstream things. Everything is data driven. It's what could be sold to you and what you already know and like. So here's more of what you know and like. It's comfort food. Oh, we know you like insert food here, so here's more of that. Here, try it over here. This one has this sauce to try it with, but it's essentially the same thing. You're not going to get something new in the mainstream sense in a while. You know, I do think there's great art out there. You're going to find it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not happening, because there's so many good examples. But right now, the era of artistry is non-existent.
What you said about food got me thinking about Taco Bell. Do you know that Taco Bell now has like annual E3 style presentations for their food?
What?
Like, do they have like a stage presence and everything? Like,
it's a whole like 5-hour presentation. It's longer than the fucking Game Awards.
What's it called? I gotta figure out. I gotta find
just look it up. But they announced new products on the stage, and like all the Taco Bell employees are crammed to the stadium, and they're like, "Well, today we're gonna announce the cheese chalupa," you know, and it's just a chalupa with a cheese, like a big ass fucking cheese in it, and then you hear the crowd go, "Oh my god, this is a brand new product that's gonna revolutionize the menu," blah blah blah, you know. But yeah, Taco Bell has its own E3, so. That's what Taco Bell caught on, that video games are like food. And they're like, well, if food are like video games and video games are like food, why can't we just do the same thing video games do and just promote it like a video game? Like it's an exciting artful product, you know?
T3 Expo.
Yeah, T3 Expo. Go check out the Taco Bell E3. Go check out the Taco Bell con. It's fun stuff.
And look at what like a place like Taco Bell does, right? They'll introduce, they'll do new stuff here and there all the time, but they'll have something that's a hit and then say, all right, it's going away forever. And then like a year later, all right, the fries are back, right?
The nacho fries.
Now,
yes, exactly.
Now we're doing this. I mean, what happened? Go look at the McRib. That's the biggest example, guys. The McRib is never happening at McDonald's again. we're done with it. Sorry. 2 years go by. You know what? Here's the McRib, guys. Come on. You know, we're going to sell it right back to you. And now it's even more expensive. And now you really want it. You haven't had it in 2 years. Like, it's anything. Like, again,
here's Fortnite Season 1 map again, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, it's just a lot. It's anything you look at. And it's not even just entertainment. It's in your fast food.
Mm-hmm.
I will you guys mentioned live service stuff. One of the last topics we had was about Jim Ryan and Shuhei Yoshida, most because Shuhei did a follow-up interview, which is really well done by Last Stand Media, where Colin got to sit down with Shuhei for about 2 hours, and he basically did a lot. He did have original questions, but he certainly followed up with some of the stuff that Shuhei said, because when that got printed and put on headlines and stuff, it sounded kind of crazy, some of the stuff with Jim Ryan. It was
pretty messy.
There's no good way to read it. It was like I had no choice. It was either this or leave. So it was either do indie stuff for PlayStation or I'm out. And this was in 2019 when Jim Ryan took over.
I told you that dude eats mayonnaise by like the bucket load. Y'all thought I was joking, making that dude dead ass eat mayonnaise before work and like at work. Look at what he's doing.
Well, he did have the follow up with Colin, and he still basically said that they created the position for him to work with indies, but they created the position almost out of necessity. It sounded like, one, they wanted to strengthen their position with indies, but two, they kind of needed a place for Shuhei because Jim Ryan wanted to make his own team. And it sounded like he wanted him to get younger. So here comes Herman Holst, and I'm sure other people that aren't necessarily in headlines or we know very well right now.
That thought Concord was the next great thing. That guy.
I will say Shuhei did say that he signed off on the prototype, but that seems to be the last thing he did with it. Hard to say if he would have been like, oh, this is it. Put all the money we can into this thing. It's going to be incredible. Because he also was someone who, well, to be fair, he didn't like God of War 2018 apparently, and that was actually very good. So it's hard to say how Concord may have gone after the fact if Shuhei was there keeping an eye on it as opposed to Herman Holst. But nonetheless, he did give it the initial sign off for the prototyping to continue.
All right, well then screw. No, I'm joking.
It still does sound crazy though in the headlines when he's like, I had no choice. It was either this or leave, and that still doesn't sound great for Shuhei with Jim Ryan. Nah. People still, Jim Ryan is on a beach somewhere, unaware of any of this happening, and people are still talking about.
Oh, he's offline. Yeah, he's offline. He's not paying attention.
He does not care whatsoever. He's probably like, screw it, I'm good. I'm hanging out with my grandkids. Which is fine. I think he's despite people whatever. I think he's earned that. You know, it's not easy being a big CEO. You got to make a lot of big decisions, but I still don't think his decision with the whole live service stuff. Nah, I think I don't care. That's not hindsight. Like I would have never signed off on that.
Interesting, you mentioned that, OJ. I want to ask you guys this question, okay? Because that was also brought up, the live service stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, and according to Shuhei, live service was not forced on any of the studios. He believes it was more of a mutual thing, as in the studios and Sony almost had that under. He really would say, they didn't force it on them. I gotta say though, if you hear or the word goes around at the water cooler or the grapevine, it's like, yo, you want your project greenlit. Yeah. You just put live service somewhere in there and you're off. That's a little extra to get you over the line.
That's what it seems like, because for those who don't know, the process of even getting your game greenlit can be hell. Like Nintendo, they constantly reject damn near everything. And same with Sony, they rejected what? They rejected, what was it? Resistance. They've rejected lots of stuff, like Resistance 4, right? That got rejected. There's probably a bunch of other games that got rejected. So, yeah, I have to think that if you say live service, it's much easier because they think there's a big payday at the end of that for less work or for not as much as what you'd have to take to do. Maybe not less work, but you don't have to build a whole single-player campaign and all that type of stuff. You can just do multiplayer.
Yeah, well, I think if it's just because the idea is these Sony studios, they're owned by Sony, but they are supposed to come up with their own pitches for ideas, and I'm sure a lot of them get turned down. I'm sure, like you mentioned with Resistance 4, right? Yeah. So if you really like this idea, and you're like, man, maybe live service would just we'll figure it out later. We can do live service stuff with this, and then it seemed like green lights were all over the place. They had 12 of them in development at one point, according to them. So many of them, most of them, did not make it out.
Canceled.
So yeah, that's tough. And I mean, on top of that, he did talk about the Last of Us Online, and he reinforced the fact that they seemed unaware of how much work it was going to be to keep the thing going at Naughty Dog after it was out, and Bungie told them how much work it was going to be, and that's apparently why they decided to scrap what, according to Shuhei, was a very fun game. He said it was great.
Wow, imagining making a fun game and then selling it to people. You know?
I thought about that. I'm like, they really couldn't turn it into a co-op game.
Yeah.
Or did it have to have all the Division bells and the Division, all the bells and whistles with that, where you also go outside and there's other people? And you couldn't just make it
That's
like multiplayer to somewhat local.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about the God of War live service that they even have planned.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that was crazy. But
You know why everyone was shocked at the God of War live service news? You know why I was not surprised? Look
Why
at
not?
the user interface of God of War Ragnarok. Look at how it's designed. It is designed exactly like a Destiny menu. Look at the loot system: green, purple, yellow, legendaries. You're getting different loot. It's exactly like fucking Avowed. It's the same shit.
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah. There's always
was-
something to get you upgrading, like
Was
materials. And
everything a
stuff.
live service? Was there no?
It's always been a live service.
God damn, everything was live service. They
It's
didn't even-
kind of crazy to me that like the statement of it's hard work, and we don't want to do this anymore for the yeah, of course it's hard. It's a different territory, but if it's good, maybe it's worth it, and we could have had something and not what probably about it came out to just a waste of time.
Yeah, but yes, it was a waste of time. Basically, is what they're
It
saying.
was that's what I said. Like the hole that we're seeing is a Sony-sized first-party hole in the lineup right now for regular games. For good regular first-party Sony games, like an Infamous or something like that, right? Or like a Killzone 2 or the stuff that they had on the PS3. That's what we're feeling right now, because this live service stuff is just. But the one live service game that probably would have done. I mean, they did have Helldivers, which did good, but the one. Big like Sony owned first party like IP that they're traditional with, like The Last of Us, that one got canceled. That's the crazy thing. That one probably could have even been not as refined as other live service games and probably still did really well because it's The Last of Us, and they could have just updated it over time.
Well, the reason I think it would have done well.
We got a whole TV show coming up in a few months, and they could have an event around that. Imagine making skins based on the actors,
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking, Gene. Is you have that transmedia thing that the words that Sega and the corporations use, people, the transmedia stuff, and they could have had, hey, we're gonna have characters like you mentioned from the show pop in here to the game and
get the Pedro Pascal skin in the game. Like
hell yeah, dude.
It really, if I feel like, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the inner workings of any of these companies' businesses and I could run it better. Anyone knows better who's an armchair person online. It doesn't matter, right? But I feel like a lot of this is so slam dunk easy to understand and be in tune with what people are looking for, what people would like, and just making sure that the one thing for your video game consoles happens, and that's have some fucking video games come out. It's I feel like we're in a drought constantly. Oh, don't get me started with the whole new Infamous stuff. The Infamous 3 game, that was a whole mess for years and years now, where it was ready to go and be a part of what was it like the PlayStation 4? It felt like I saw a poster that had a 3 in lightning bolts that was red and blue, and it was lenticular. It was going to be a whole big announcement. Gone.
Can I have a rant about Infamous real quick?
No.
You know how a lot of games have a lot of like cringy Marvel writing, right? Like God of War is trying to be Marvel, obviously Concord was trying to be Marvel. I don't understand, and then there's this whole obsession with live service and expanded universes and everything like that, and also having obviously Sony right now is really Sony first party games are really into diversifying their protagonists, right? There's a lot of discourse about how every Sony first party game coming up is all a woman, and they're usually people of color, right? Now, I don't understand why Sony didn't see their superhero IP that takes place in different cities and we're like, hey, and has different protagonists.
Yep. Yeah.
And being like, maybe we could create our own Infamous universe. We can have our own diverse cast of characters. No one's gonna fucking complain as long as we have Cole around every once in a while or whatever. And Troy Baker's voicing it or whatever. But then you can have diverse protagonists in different cities, right? Or maybe the same city. Who knows? If you want to go the Yakuza route, but you can have different protagonists. You can all pile them on together after 10 years in one big Infamous endgame game.
Could be live service.
Yeah, that could be a live service, and you just have a bunch of fucking cool, diverse Asian lady, black woman, black man, fat guy here, like all kinds of like diversity you want as superheroes running around in a city or whatever. I don't understand why
you creating your own character, completely. It's just that works in the story. You design the person however you want.
Yeah, you can have your own tune too, but I just don't understand why they didn't do that. And then they thought, oh well, let's do a historical games based on Japanese samurais, and then we'll just have another one.
It's more interesting.
Hold on, I do like Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm not saying Ghost of Tsushima sucks. Ghost of Tsushima is clearly one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
I'm just saying when it comes to IP cost,
it's more interesting they're willing to rely on Marvel with those licensing fees. And rather than build up their own superhero universe with Infamous, it's very, because we saw some of those fees for Spider-Man and it was astronomical to the point where Spider-Man 3 might have been 2 games. They might have made it 2 parts, try to get $100 for that thing.
Yes, I know Infamous did that with First Light. Why didn't they keep doing that? That's my issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good DLC for it too.
Yeah, that was a great game. I love First Light.
Let's
Anyways,
see.
rant over. I love Infamous. So I love Ghost of Tsushima too, and I'm very excited for Yote. So
okay, I think I got everything there. All right, did you restart your router again, Josie?
Yep, running all over the house tonight. It's awesome. Super awesome.
Your camera's very nice, though.
Thanks. It's a DLSR. I worked really hard and I put bokeh in the background, but for most of it, you can't see it because my camera was loading. But it's okay.
It looks like a very expensive camera. Good job.
It's actually just the lens, but thank you.
Oh wow, okay, good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. For all the people here on the podcast, the panel, I do have their links down below. I added Jeans as well and Jordan. That's what I was kind of doing there for a minute, get everyone set up. Let's check them out down below. Let me see. SK says I got 50 hours in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I just got to the wedding. Game of the year. That is kind of ridiculous. Casual Noob Gamer asks, OG, did you credit Nintendo Life with your background?
Nintendo Life owns you, OJ.
Yeah, shout outs to Nintendo Life.
Clayton says, good to see OJ here. He keeps it real. I'm here to report that Avowed is a mediocre after 20 hours of blah. Yakuza Pirate Hawaii is fantastic and a perfect starting place for anyone who's never played.
Yo, shout outs to Clayton, man. He's the homie. Good stuff, man. Good to see you here.
That is good advice too. I can say the Pirate Yakuza is a great place to start. The amnesia angle, they really worked that into making that like, oh, if this is your first Yakuza game, no problem. So
okay, I do want to play that too. It looks off the wall ridiculous.
I actually gone back to playing it too. It's so fun.
Oh, okay, good stuff. Chief says put 20 hours into Avowed and was having fun with it. However, the amount of frame drops I encountered in the third area were headache inducing. Okay, I'm still in the first area. I will find out about that third area.
Like I said, the game drops off in quality after the second area for sure.
Casual Noob says Nintendo Life owns Xenoblade Chronicles X in your background, OJ.
This is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, okay? This is Definitive Edition, all right? Not X.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Spyro Jones says, Jordan, since you've been gone, how have you played, and what are your opinions on SpongeBob, Cosmic Shake, Astrobot, or Spyro, and with the Dragonfly?
Okay. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of just random older things, new things. I don't know, just all over the place. But I mean, Cosmic Shake is decent. I enjoyed it. Astrobot, I haven't had a chance to play yet. It's on my back burner, but I do want to actually give that a shot. Inspire into the Dragonfly. Not great. Not a great Spyro representation right there.
Astrobot's great, Jordan, man.
It's
so good.
I've seen so much on it. I think it looks really cool. I just have had no time to even look.
It's like Mario Galaxy 3 almost. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, Josie, you played more of that, didn't you?
I beat it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. After MVG called you out.
That was unnecessary.
They added more. I just did the speed run level. They just added another one this past week. It was very good.
It's a very cute game. I think you'll like it a lot, Jordan.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Zoob says, Omega says, Jordan, I love your vids, bro. Keep it up.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
Zoop says, Fringe, Shadows, Pirate, Yakuza, or Avowed. So much to play, so little time.
I'm definitely looking forward to Shadows. Been looking forward to that one for a while. Pirate Yakuza, I don't know much about. I feel like there's like a bunch of Yakuza games that I'm like behind on now. But I would probably check those two out first over Avowed personally. But I have like I said, I have it downloaded. Who knows?
Super Christian Me World says, I got slayed last night. Oops. Wrong chat. LMAO. Smiley face, open mouth with a little tear on the top.
Very millennial Christian.
Oh my god.
SK says, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 combat is realistic and good. It's not boring. Just cover your eyes and randomly swing your sword until your enemy is dead. I tried that and they murdered me and took my horse.
I started playing KCD 2 and I was like, this is cool. I should probably play KCD 1 actually, because I don't know who the fuck Henry is or Hank or whatever. So
Bulba,
let me just go back to the beginning and start that. So
it was that's a game where it's like you fast travel and it just has your little guy walking as a little figure.
That's
and then
sick.
I run into something and then I end up in the battle and the person just smacks me and I die. And it's like, I haven't saved for 45 minutes. Great.
That's sick. I need a game like that right now for sure.
Grubby says, Metaphor Refancio.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Great game.
About Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Gene, MVG was explaining to me because he said he's like 30 hours in and he's figuring it out. And he was like, yeah, for like your hunger stuff, you just want to level up your metabolism. It's like, what did you just say? Level my metabolism. What?
Look, I'm excited to play KCD 1 and learn how to read, you know? Apparently that's the whole thing you got to do in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So I'm excited how that process happens.
Hey, I'll give it to the developers. They took immersive sim seriously. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. Dark Requiem says, big publishers are so busy trying to appeal to the modern audience that they don't appeal to the existing one. They make games that appeal to no one.
Again, data. They're trying to appeal to data and not people, you know?
Super Christian Me World says, one time I had a convo with someone in the comments that Switch isn't delivering great first-party titles with good playtime. Oh, what say PS5, Xbox this gen? Yeah, the Switch's library is kind of ridiculous after 8 years now. It's hard to compare that at this point. Let's see. Jenna Hayes says, Gene Park, your people are saving gaming Easter suits are putting out better quality than the West.
I'm not offended by this. This is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We made Stellar Blade and Nikkei, you know. So
you're people, bro. Come on.
my people, my Korean people. So. But yeah, shout out to East Asia. We're coming back. China, Korea, Japan. It's all happening.
Those are all your people? All those?
I'm all three, baby. I could be. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I haven't taken the 21 and whatever, 22 and me or whatever. 23 and me, whatever that shit is, you know.
This is from Clayton Morris. Shout out to Clayton Morris says, yes, Jordan is right. Studios in the 40s and 50s would turn out movies left and right. Casablanca was one of those movies, and Bogart was on to the next film. Make more games.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like we need to like just keep spamming out games that are underbaked and all that, but you know, there should be more urgency to have like more than like one game from a studio come out in a generation. You know,
you're asking for too much, Jordan.
I'm really not.
Oh,
I'm really not.
RGG is only making games faster.
My bad.
What's interesting though, Gene, about them is they reuse a lot of the assets. I don't see people mention that much, but then you get God of War Ragnarok and they reuse the boat animation, and I saw that all over Twitter.
Those Yakuza games reuse.
The community is chill. We don't give a shit. You know.
That's what I mean.
Yakuza reuses
fun,
everything.
Right?
Yeah, Yakuza reuses damn near. They reuse everything. They reuse toilet paper. They probably recycle that too.
Do you know how far the asset reuse goes back? In Infinite Wealth, there's the Animal Crossing minigame, right? So in the Animal Crossing minigame, inside Infinite Wealth, which is a whole 50-hour experience, it's fucking massive, right? Yeah. But then you can get furniture and like your like decorations for your house, right?
Mhm.
One of the decorations is a splatter of blood, and that's the same splatter of blood texture that was in the very first Yakuza game in PS2.
It's like the Don Doko Island or whatever it's
The
called.
Doko Island, yeah.
yeah,
They're still using shit from the original games in PS2, including the
and look,
animations and everything like that. It's the same thing.
I don't mind, to be honest, because Mass Effect 1 through 3, they reuse animations as well. I mean, and they reuse textures and they reuse things. I mean, they upgrade things slightly here and there, but they reuse stuff. So as long as the game is good, that's why people don't complain as much. But
Right,
God
and
of War is really good too. But I think that people expected a little bit more from God of War, considering the time in between the games. Maybe I think that's maybe what people were doing.
That is
true.
the one thing
That's
you're
true.
right. RGG games come out rapid fire almost with them, and it's
Annual.
I mean, it's
every
consistent.
year.
People like them. They're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
and there's
cool.
no like
Game's
fatigue
fun.
like Assassin's Creed, where like, oh my god, like slow down Ubisoft, and Ubisoft did slow down, and they got worse,
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah,
RGG, they're like, no, we'll just keep making games, and you just keep buying them. It's fine, and they're all good. So
This is for Eliza Phil says, okay, Nintendo Life. Shout out to OJ. Unhinge the French. Thanks, Liza Phil.
also, FromSoft is the other studio. It's 2022 Elden Ring, 2023 Armored Core. Last year, Shadow of the Erdtree. This year, fucking Night Rain. Every year.
Yep.
Every year for the last 4 years.
They reuse a lot too.
Yep.
They use a lot of textures.
Yeah,
but
and Night Rain is
people like
asset reused the game, but it's awesome, right?
Yep. It's fun. That's what it comes down to at the end.
Yeah,
of the
no
day.
one's complaining about, oh my god, they're using the centipede demon again. No, everyone's like, oh fuck, it's this fucking centipede demon. Yeah. Yeah.
Christmas says, did you guys hear about the new expansion Neverwinter Nights that released yesterday called Doom of Icewind Dale? I did not. Neverwinter Nights. Haven't heard that name in a while.
I know. What the hell?
Robert says, anyone heard anything about HDR support for Switch 2? Nothing's been publicly discussed, but I feel like there will be HDR support, yes.
Good question. Yeah.
Kevin says, FF7, 8, 9, 10 all came out inside 5 years. Peak Final Fantasy. That was a crazy run, though. I will say that.
We're never going to see that again, ever. That's never happening.
That was madness, especially that jump to 10. That jump to 10 was crazy.
We're just never going to see anything of that quality of jump ever again. Like, I'm glad to have been alive for all of that. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Valen says 32 hours in Avowed, having a blast. Only issue our lack of a physical copy and can't set custom waypoints on the map. That seems like something that might end up being on a patch in. So that's a legitimate thing I would actually like let them know about. Hey, we want waypoints on the map. Okay,
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The waypoints will pop up if you assign a quest, but if you're just trying to do off and like find something that you think is interesting on the map, yeah, a waypoint
Like a pin.
will
You'll drop a
be
pin
needed.
or
Yeah,
something.
like
Yeah.
a little pin drop. Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X has waypoints. So.
Jared says, what are your most played games? They say Rocket League is theirs. I guess just in general, most played game.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
I had a funny Fortnite, actually, really funny about Fortnite, Joe. See, one of the kids here was like, "Oh, I'll play Fortnite. Let's install it." So, okay, so he installs it on a Switch. I installed it on the PS5 right here. I was like, "Look, you do crossplay with it." All right, let's jump in. So we go into a match. The 100 no build. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with.
Yeah, no. Zero build is the way to go.
So I'm like, all right, let's go. Won the first match immediately.
Yeah, I mean, you're a gamer, so you probably kill it.
He's like, all right, let's do it again. Okay, won the second match immediately. Like 20 something.
They're trying to figure out the rank for him right now. Actually, you know what? The Switch is a lot easier than anything else. I switched to playing on PC and I'm getting whooped. But when I was on the Switch, I was really, really good.
No, I was playing with
all
I was
those
on the
kids,
PS5.
yeah.
He was on the Switch. I don't know who it pulls in. I just said whatever. Crossplay doesn't matter.
Whoever's party leader.
He just followed me around and we just took.
I
everyone
definitely
out.
get
So
more
on his-
victory royales on the Switch for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
So on his like profile, it's like 2 games played, 2 battle royale wins, 100% win rate. I was like, that's it.
That's
I'm done.
amazing.
I'm retiring from Fortnite now.
No,
What?
you got to
You should
get
play
on
with me,
Lego
John.
Fortnite. You gotta
Oh,
get
Lego Fortnite's so fun.
so much fun.
Have you played that new like city building one or what? What is?
Nah, I haven't tried that one
Brick
yet.
Life?
Just got back into the Lego Fortnite.
I was talking smack. That was happening. That
On the
was
headset?
happening. No, just to the room. Sometimes I just talk smack to the room. It's like they're here.
The last time I played Fortnite was.
We should stream Fortnite, John. That'd be so fun.
I'd be down. But the last time I played Fortnite was when Kamala Harris had her Fortnite building city in the game. So I was like, okay, well, I have to cover
Whoa,
this.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, yeah, they did it like 2 weeks before the election, in a last ditch desperate attempt to reach out to the gamer communities. And
Took their time, huh?
I mean, that's the issue. At that point, Trump was already on Joe Rogan. He was already on Theo Vaughn.
Really took their time, huh? All right.
She went on Call Her Daddy. That was a good episode.
Call Her Daddy, yeah. But by that time, Trump was already on XQC and Aiden Ross and everything like that. It was too late, bro.
Just send me your name on Fortnite then, Josie.
Let's run it, John. That'd be such a
Put on
fun
Fortnite
stream.
right after the end of the podcast.
Jordan, we should all squad up. That'd be so
I'm ready.
cute.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right.
The Fortnite arc begins.
We are doing that, John. I'm holding on to that.
What's everyone's most played game other than Fortnite? We went off on a tangent there.
For some reason,
Mine's Halo
400
3.
hours. I have
Sorry,
400
Halo
hours in
3.
Assassin's Creed Unity for some reason.
What?
Why?
Why?
I fucking love that game.
Probably somewhere in the Borderlands series for me, or like the first or second game. Probably have the most amount of time ever played in them, or Spyro.
Most time ever?
I mean, yeah, because the amount of times I've played through on all the different characters.
Oh no,
and-
the question was most time ever, right?
Yeah, but like, what game have you played the most ever? Mine's
Yeah, it's
Halo
got-
3. I can tell you now, it's thousands of hours.
Okay.
It's got to be like something like Pokemon Diamond or Smash, but like Smash for Wii U. One of those two games.
It might be actually Zelda
Smash
Breath of the
all-
Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for me. One of those two.
Okay.
Because I played both games like 5 times. So
I didn't put anywhere near as much time into Smash Ultimate. I just didn't have the time because I was working full time doing content creation. Whereas Smash
We should
for Wii U,
Boomer versus Zoomer Smash Ultimate.
I am ready. I got a
Yo.
GameCube controller here.
I got my ass kicked so much.
This is
I feel like
from
every
Scott
weekend.
says increased budgets doesn't equal better games. A lot of the best games had constrained budgets and dev times. AA is the future. And Clayton Morris again says, why did we get away from 8 to 12-hour games like Uncharted? To me, that's the sweet spot. But I'm a hypocrite who put 120 in Xenoblade and 300 in Tears of the Kingdom.
Base
Yeah,
Clayton.
That's,
Wow.
that's about right. I don't mind that 8 to 12-hour game if it's good. I don't mind it. Even at full 70, if it is like a really good experience, and I feel like I got a lot out of it. The thing I do like, though, is that Capcom does that thing with games where you feel like you want to play through it multiple times to get everything in it.
Mhm.
It's 8 to 12 hours if you want to just go through it once, but then you end up like 40 hours because you've tried to unlock the ultimate unlimited rocket launcher and whatever.
I'm kind of like a 20 to 30 hour person for like a game for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of more like a 20 to 30 for like if it's
What if
a game
it's
I really
what
like.
if it's 8 to 12 for just the beeline run, but it's 20 to 30 if you want to do everything?
Yeah, that's fine too, but I don't ever beeline run games. Like I don't ever do that. But yeah, that's okay. But to be honest, I don't know if I even play that many games that even do that. Most of the games that I play a bunch of anime stuff or like or RPGs. So all that stuff's always long as hell. So.
I just feel like we keep getting if you get these 40, 50, 60-hour games, they just start piling up so fast because games are just dropping constantly.
Last year, I played a lot of stuff, but I barely put a lot of time into anything. It was really just Metaphor and like SMT5 Vengeance and like Stellar Blade. Like a lot of the games were long. Stellar Blade was like the shortest game that I played, and that was like 30-something hours for me.
I'm actually playing Days Gone as well right now, and I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually loving the game a lot, but oh my god, it's so fucking long, dude. Like the whole there's like a whole 30 hours at the beginning of the game that just did not need to be there.
It's from Elganto. Says PS3 emulation is on Android now, and action games are back. Yu-Gi-Oh is making a comeback. Y2K style is coming back. Also, life is good like LG.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's making a comeback. If you
Is
look at the card game side of things, like it's been around. It's been heavy. I think the Classics collection that's coming out, like, was it like next week? Oh, can't wait for that. That's incredible.
Oh,
The
is it?
throwback collection. It has like all these old original like Game Boy games and places. Oh, it's so good.
That sounds like a Ryan thing. He's the Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Okay, I think I got everything there. Oh, and here we go. The ported Sicilian gamer says relationship advice for the cast. I am thinking of selling my Switch 1 to my girlfriend at MSRP to afford the Switch 2. Is this a good strategy?
So I understand that reference. I understand that reference.
You don't understand it, G?
No, I do understand it.
Oh, you do. That's funny.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, are you throwing in controllers though? It's only a deal if you throw in the controllers. Controllers in a few games. No, we just messing with you. Shout out.
I support my toxic friend. Okay.
No, shout out to the homie. No,
shout out to the homie. Shout out to
he's
toxically masculine homie for sure. But yeah.
Let me go around here as we finish up. Some of the questions I saw over on the Spawncast network were for like RGT and stuff. So I'm going to save some of those for next week as well. We'll pile them in there. Let me go around here. Let's start with OJ. Player Essence Star. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I've got some cool stuff coming up when it comes to, we're going to be live streaming the Pokemon Presents. I'll be bright and early for that one. So if you guys want to come hang out, talk about that, release some cool Pokemon Legends ZA content and Switch 2 stuff. So if you're interested in that or RPG stuff, check out the channel. Yeah, appreciate having. And I also, if we're gonna do it at this time, I will definitely do Spawncast pre-shows. So if you want to hang out at the pre-show before, if it's Saturday, I'll be doing a pre-show. So yeah.
I can do the. Actually, I can do the. There's a couple here that aren't for Sean. No, that one's kind of Sean. Let's see. Oh, Zach. Mac says, I recently got into anime after dismissing it for years. I'm halfway through Persona 5 now. What anime art style game should I play next?
Oh, he's talking about games, like anime games?
Maybe just anime in general, and he just got turned off by the style, but now he gets it. And
Xenoblade.
Like, oh yeah, Persona's great. Yeah,
Xenoblade for sure.
Okay. Xenoblade Chronicles. I hate that everyone just says, "Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles is just a waifu game," and it's like, man.
It's the donkey video.
It's a donkey video, man. Like it's annoying.
That donkey video.
You watched the donkey video in 2017, and you're still stuck there in 2017.
But it made the game super popular. People actually went out and bought it more. That was the funniest thing, though. I mean, it was like it misrepresented it, but at the same time, it was kind of like a good thing for it too. So,
OJ, do you think it'll be so funny if Xenoblade Chronicles X becomes the breakout mainstream hit?
Yeah, I don't think it will. But
I'm hoping it will. I think people will love this game. I think people will see the robots and they'll be like, "Fuck, I gotta tap into."
I'm surprised you didn't tell them like Metaphor since they're doing Persona right now.
Oh well, I mean, Metaphor, sure, absolutely. Metaphor, Xenoblade, they're all great. Yeah, Metaphor is fantastic. That's like more like an anime.
OJ and I are the Xenoblade like fanatics though, so we gotta see Xenoblade first.
I like Metaphor pretty much as much. I mean, if Metaphor was like a series, I might have it up with but Xenoblade is like, it's got 15 years of history compared to Metaphor. Metaphor is just one game. So
I want more anime to become video games.
Like what anime games?
Like I want
anime is good. What anime game
like
is
One
good
Piece Odyssey.
No, like Chainsaw Man. You know what I'm saying? Let me play as Chainsaw Man.
It'd probably suck though. That's the problem. Bandai Namco
I don't care.
Would have it.
Let me have the option to try it.
Dude, look at the JJK game.
Like the Avatar games.
Oh, like the mobile one?
No, check out Attack on Titan. Check out the
Attack
on Titan
old.
game.
Those games are old. That's like decade old.
No, the Koei Tecmo games.
Yeah, that's like a decade old.
Yeah, they're dope though.
They're good, but still, like the newer ones or like the anime games that come out today are so half baked. Like JJK
fighting games, like it'll just
Fumble.
Yeah, Attack on Titan wasn't half baked. It's old. That's what.
No, I know Attack on Titan's good.
I
I've played it. I covered it. It's good. Attack on Titan 1 and 2 are both good.
Yeah.
But Naruto sucks. That game's trash. It's terrible.
This one's from Zach. Says, what is everyone's favorite Metal Gear Solid game? Playing through Phantom Pain right now, and it's great. A little long though. Yeah, Phantom Pain. The issue with that is at the end you can kind of tell that they had to speed through some of it. Like there was a whole story between Kojima and Konami and stuff with that. But favorite Metal Gear Solid game?
Ooh, to me, it's got to be either. I mean, I know people hate on Twin Snakes, but I like Twin Snakes or Metal Gear Solid 4. One of those two are probably like my favorite.
Wow, 4. That's the first time I've heard 4. Wow.
What? The first time you heard 4?
Yeah. I've never heard anyone say 4 before.
The ending's awesome.
I love 4. Don't get me wrong. I love 4 very much. So
okay. Most people say 3, or they say 3, or they say the original.
See, I maybe it's just the timing, my age when it came out. Man, I really like 2 just for everything around its release and then the game itself. But everything leading up to it I mean, there was that kind of like outside the game meta where Kojima was trying to trick everyone, and
You had to be there.
for some reason that's just really stuck with me. And the
You had
game
to
on
be
the
there.
PS2 in like the first year or so, 60 frames per second looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just from the memory and like the impact for me, I kind of feel like I gotta go
But
with 2.
John, this is a safe spot, man. You can say that you like the naked flipping with,
That was funny.
I'm not
That was
judging
good.
you. I'm not judging
That was
you.
funny.
I'm
Jesse
just
has
saying,
no idea. Look that
I'm
up.
gonna
Jesse.
judge. I'm gonna harshly judge.
I actually think
there's a
Phantom Pain is
man
my favorite
naked.
one. No,
flipping.
number 5 is my favorite one.
5.
Oh, 5.
Okay, interesting. All right. Okay.
Because I know that the story isn't the best, and 2 is my favorite one regarding the story. But in terms of gameplay, 5 is actually 5. Metal Gear Solid 5 is probably my most played game because I do have solidly over 1,000 hours in that game.
I mean, I like the idea of being able to recruit, obviously, because they didn't like
Yes.
Portable Ops Peace War or whatever. But I like the idea of being able to do that and then build up your base. Well, and even the multiplayer was kind of cool too. But
Yep.
What
It's
about you?
Phantom Pain
Go,
is
go ahead.
meant to be Kojima's parting gift to Metal Gear. He's like, hey, I can't make any more Metal Gear games, but here is a game where you can make as many Metal Gear type stories as you want with these 2 open worlds. You can insert your own characters. So if you want to make your own characters in a Metal Gear game, then this is your avenue. That's how I interpret Phantom Pain. It's like, here's the ultimate Metal Gear playground playset for you as I leave the series behind forever.
About Jordan, any input here on this one?
Yeah, now it's my turn because it pissed everyone off. It's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
No, hell yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know what? I got it. I get it.
It's a Metal Gear game. I mean, it does say Metal Gear on the box.
It does.
Josie, we will someday get you into this world.
Someday.
Someday. They just got to do something with Metal Gear. That first Metal Gear Solid. It does need help. It does. So.
Twin Snakes. I love Twin Snakes too.
Yeah, Twin Snakes can work, but I think even that. I think just in general that could be a really cool Blue Point remake, but they had multiplayer God of War to work on and cancel. So.
What the fuck?
Josie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Josie Well. I talk about Nintendo and old games and stuff like that. I have Bokeh in the background, so if you like filmmaking, upping the production value, because I have fun with that. But yeah, thank you for having me on. It's nice to be back.
She just did a whole video on the first Mario game for the Nintendo. Her
Ooh.
perspective on it as
And
someone
it
who
was
wasn't.
4x3.
Yeah.
You watched
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Ah.
It's a 4x3. That's awesome. Wow, you're really getting into filmmaking. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been doing it for a while, and then I was like, I'm gonna put it in my YouTube videos now. So it's been fun.
Sorry, I've been behind on my Josie content. So.
No, it's okay. I'm honestly flattered that anyone sees it. So
Brandon says, with Nintendo getting rid of gold coins starting March 24th, do you think that means they don't plan on releasing any first-party games until Switch 2? No, they'll release at least 1, maybe 2.
Xenoblade.
Well, even outside of that, I think they're going to I think that Kirby Planet Robot probably drops before Switch 2, and you might even see a Metroid Prime 2 drop before then. So that neither of those would shock me. So I think you will still have those. Joe McKenna says, is the Mario Wonder Switch OLED bundle possible evidence of the OLED being phased out once the Switch 2 releases? Like John has speculated. I've thought about that. Simplify the lineup, get rid of the OLED because it's the most expensive one. Get rid of that weird price gap of $50. It could be. It could be. Could be. It wouldn't shock me. I'll say that if that happened. Gene, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Gene Park. You can. I have a link in my bio to my other YouTube and Twitch. I'm gonna start doing more Twitch streams. Twitch.tv/Gene Park.
Oh, good stuff. Okay.
And you can find me on Washington Post. This week, I plan to be interviewing RGG Studio. Last year, I interviewed Yokoyama, the studio head, about their asset reuse. Actually, you said that a lot of people don't talk about that, but I talk about it with him. And he said, he had a great quote. He was like, "I don't understand why the game industry doesn't work like the TV industry, where when you have a TV show and you're trying to tell a consistent story throughout a TV show, you're not going from city to city, having new characters to tell a story. It's the same characters in the same room in the same stories, and so I don't understand why more games do that, So that's a really interesting perspective, and I definitely want to. This story, I'm definitely going to dig way deeper into how they reuse their assets and everything like that, because I already missed the boat on reviewing Pirate Yakuza. It's great, go get it. But this week I'm gonna focus on that with RGG and check that out.
Okay. Larvey says, will these Xbox games being rumored to go multiplat? Is there an Xbox exclusive you'd like to see make the move outside of the big rumored ones like Halo and Gears? I'd love to see if Quantum Break got on PlayStation. Halo and Gears is like the big one.
Yeah.
Anything
Blue
else?
Dragon and Lost Odyssey on other places too.
Okay, that would be cool because then they'd have to go back and do some work to it to move it over, and you assume.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would actually be cool just for that fact that they would probably do some work to
Blue
it.
Dragon needs all sorts of work. I doubt they'll do it, but if they ever did, that would be it'd be good if they actually remastered that game.
Can I just ask real quick? Are we getting another Gears at all? I feel like it just was like, here's Gears 5, and then they just
E-Day game.
We're getting
Oh,
E-Day.
yeah, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I already forgot about E-Day, right? I know, me
Stop
too.
announcing
I
shit
was like,
and then just
Jordan,
disappear.
Oh yeah, that's right, E-Day.
Like, man,
E-Day.
I want more Gears.
It's coming.
I do want more
Better.
Gears. I was actually super disappointed with his E-Day. I'm like, I don't care about the past, bro.
Yeah,
like, why are we already know what happens at E-Day. There's
Really?
going to be no tension in the story.
I think this might be a good, instead of trying to go with all the new characters and stuff they were doing, go back to the characters that people love.
Yeah,
Go
the
back,
data-driven characters that people love. That's
Hey, look,
the same shit.
Let me
There
tell you,
needs
I
to
know
be
we're
more risk taken, just a little bit,
I get it. I know we're late on time here, but there was a decision that kind of screwed the Mass Effect franchise. Let me tell you guys it real quick. There was a poll up. I'm back on the. They said, "What do you guys want? You guys want Mass Effect Andromeda, or you guys want a prequel with the Commander Anderson and all of that?" And everyone was like, "Give me the Andromeda, give me the new game," and that screwed everything up for a decade plus. Because if they would have just used Unreal Engine 3 and made a prequel, I think that would have been, maybe it wasn't as good as Mass Effect 2 or 3, but it still would have been really good. I think they would have just reused stuff, and it would have just been a better thing on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So sometimes you gotta follow. I get it. I see what you guys are saying, but sometimes you might want to just follow what people know and they like, and you can create something awesome. Because Gears went off the rails a bit for me because I played all the Gears games. They don't went off the rails by 4. I was like, I don't know.
No, play Gears 5. Gears 5 is amazing.
Okay, incredible. That's true. Yeah, Gears 5. You're right. Gears 5 is good, but. Yeah, I think a prequel is okay. I'm looking forward to.
I'm not super
mad
mad
a big Gears guy. I'm not a big Gears guy, but I'm looking
look.
forward
I like Marcus and Dom. I love the Gears universe, so I'm not super mad about it. It just sucks that the cliffhanger at the end of Gears of 5. Spoilers, I guess. I'm sorry, but the story just doesn't end at the end of Gears 5, and it's annoying that the story. That we can't continue that story.
I love waiting decades between my video game stories.
Right? I feel you guys.
That worked out so well for Dragon Age Veilguard, right? That nobody gives a shit who the fuck Solus is anymore after 10 years,
Yeah.
Again, bad writers creating these bad situations that they can't write themselves out of,
This is why you plan. You get a writer's room. You decide things.
That's why I gotta hire you, Jordan, to be honest. I keep,
DC Fat Cat, I see you here. I'm going to save that question for RGT. I actually just sent it to him on Twitter just so we don't miss it. We'll ask him that next week. Kale says, in games like Avowed, Fable, Elder Scrolls, etc., do you tend to be more evil or good with your character choices?
I feel like it depends.
I don't like being bad in games because I'm not like a bad person. So like I don't like being bad. I've done it in Mass Effect and I felt terrible. So I don't really do that anymore, to be honest.
I mean,
I'm Renegade. I'll be Renegade.
Most people do play the good route, though. There was that Mass Effect data. Again, data-driven, right? But Mass Effect
like
data
90%.
showed that over 75% of people were good. So there's a whole population of people who didn't see anything of the evil side, and they spent all those resources making the evil side, and nobody gave a shit about that. So,
I mean, the most relatable thing is when you make a choice of dialogue, and it's like it says one thing but it comes off differently, and it's like it ruins something and it makes it evil, or it ruins a relationship with the character. You're like, no, how do I go back? I didn't mean to say it. Everyone has that. I can't be evil in these games. It's hard.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing about Avowed is that when you think you're evil, the game doesn't think so.
Great job.
Nope. I deliver something and getting payment.
Yeah, no.
The game always hand it over. It's like, nah, I need some money.
Avowed always flips back to being neutral about your character, like no matter where you are in the story, and that's the craziest part,
I am trying to be like I delivered like a pack, like just a package to the person. They're like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, like,
You're like,
okay, and then they're like, "Okay, fine. Here's 200 gold." I do that every time, no problem.
that's the most of the impact that kind of
Yeah.
happens in Avowed, honestly. So
Mm.
And Jordan.
Yeah.
Did I get you? Where can I find you, sir? Did I get you?
No, yeah, you can find
Get in
me
there.
on my channel, Jordan Fringe. Got a big project I've been working on coming out probably in the next week here before the end of the month. So that'll be fun. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for having me too, guys. Appreciate it.
There you guys.
Let me break into the podcast for a little bit.
Hey, always welcome. Always welcome. Always welcome. She just says, John, I saw your video about Xbox Stay Crazy. How many games Xbox were releasing this year? Because like you said, probably the most out of the big three, but the third party stuff just overshadows it. Do you think Xbox ever changed their approach here, or the cat is out of the bag now? PS RGT hold a fish fry for the cast. Sounds like you have experience. Have a nice weekend. I don't know what that was for Sean, but I feel like that's something he would be able to explain. Like it might be a random rant in one of his videos or something. Do you think Xbox ever changed their approach here with the games that they're just putting on other platforms? I think Satya Nadella's made the decision for them. So I think all their games are just going to other platforms pretty much right away if they can.
Did you guys talk about the AI shit? Jesus.
No, we didn't have enough time for that. But I think somebody did drop a right there.
Mm-hmm.
Adam says, what do you guys think about Xbox announcing AI for game development? Do you think it's a good tool, or is it terrible as a tool because it has no soul?
I'm not as anti-AI as most people, but I also think it's weird to just be marketing all this, but it's all just for investors and money. Just like what people said about Sony and live service. It's just, they're just talking just to get more money. That's it. And investors are stupid. You know,
it's a way to tie Xbox and gaming to some massive, overly inflated valuation of AI right now, and it's a way to tell investors, "Hey, don't worry." It's like they tied it in the cloud; they're tying it into AI. A lot of that probably has to do with the almost $100 billion they've invested in studios right now. It's like, okay, yeah, now it's kind of with AI. So, by the way, I've seen a lot of people try to explain what exactly they said in that video or what Muse is, and like 95% of the explanations are just wrong. It's so weird. It's people think it's making games. People think it's like preserving games, and it's not doing any of that. It's mostly about, they said, ideation and basically generating a video with button inputs, and you can kind of edit what it sees, and you can see then how the game would proceed at that point. And then you get ideas, and then you can work to make your game. So it's not actually making games yet. Maybe someday.
AI is a tool,
lose their mind.
and it's always going to be boiled down to how that tool is used. That tool could be used for good. It could be used as bad. And a lot of people end up using AI or thinking AI is their solution to something. When it's only ever supposed to be a tool. And people use the tool wrongly. And I think
use AI every day. I use AI every day to transcribe my interviews, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good tool.
James says, is it still worth buying a Steam Deck now? Or at this point, should I wait for a Steam Deck 2? Steam Deck 2 is probably 2026 next year. So you still have like another year and 3 months or so, I think.
They did say that they're not going to make them one until there's like a significant increase in mobile handheld technology, which like probably next year or the year afterwards. But yeah, I think if you don't want to wait, if you can't wait a year, then you should just buy a Steam Deck now, because it's my favorite console, period, right now. It's my favorite device. I play it more than the Switch, you know?
Oh.
David says, I hope OJ has joined you tonight, and I want to first off say welcome back, and we missed you. That being said, my question is, do you think Nintendo will get retaliatory in any way to YouTubers who reported on Switch 2 leaks? If so, should Nintendo Prime and the Switch 2 Super Friends go into witness relocation? Oh, man. Witness relocation. OJ is muted, and he's making all kinds of points. There he is.
Sorry. Yeah, no, we're good, man. I'll be, if I disappear, then you know they got me. But I should be good.
No Life got him.
One of the two got me. If I disappear around March 21st, March 20th, You know what happened.
I think that's other than the RGT question. Yes, that is everything there, and I got everything there. I think we're good. Yes, we're good. Thanks everyone for joining us for Spawncast episode 402. Thanks to Gene and Jordan for hopping on. Always good to have them here. Conversations were great. Shout out to Josie, OJ. Check them all out. I got their links down below in the description. Go by, say hi, leave them a comment. Check out Josie's 4x3 Mario video. That's way more creative than anything I've ever done. So that's actually pretty cool. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, or Saturday night. We're going back next Saturday. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll see you guys then.